The second I get my terminal cancer diagnosis, my very first move is calling my lawyer to draw up divorce papers. 5 years of marriage, yet her heart always belonged to another man. I have been stuck in this hospital for almost 2 weeks, getting zero sleep. My wife is a doctor right here in this exact hospital, and she has not visited me once. Inside this clinical room, the icy scent of bleach burns my nose. I slump against the bed frame, my face looking paler than the drywall. Sitting opposite me, Mr. John pushes up his glasses and grabs a legal document. But he does not pass it over, Mr. Young. A divorce takes both signatures. After you sign, there is a 30-day cooling-off period. With your failing health right now, I strongly advise against this. I have made my choice. I interrupt him. My voice sounds gravelly, yet totally resolute. I will get her signature. Mr. John parts his lips, then reconsiders. He just chokes down whatever warning he had. He stands and places the divorce papers lightly on my bedside nightstand. Please make sure you take good care of yourself. The heavy door clicks shut. Once again, it is just me. 30 days, I whisper to myself. I just need to survive it. Suddenly, my gut wrenches violently. That terrifying familiar spasm strikes. I violently lurch forward, snatch the plastic trash bin, and violently hack. A thick mouthful of dark crimson blood spills out. My vision fades black around the edges. It takes forever for the brutal pain to subside, leaving me entirely hollowed out and totally exhausted. This stifling room is suffocating me. I drag myself upright, desperately needing some fresh air downstairs. I barely manage to reach the main lobby when a white coat sprints around the corner, almost colliding right into my chest. Rain. Her familiar voice sounds completely shocked. What exactly are you doing here at the clinic? I meet Zara's gorgeous eyes. She wears a tailored doctor coat, her hair pinned back flawlessly, framing her elegant face perfectly. Right now, her expression is pure confusion. Pretty ironic, I have been living in this hospital ward for nearly 2 weeks, and my own wife has absolutely no clue I am here, even though she works in these very halls. My chest painfully stings, like a needle slowly driving deep into me, but I hold no grudge. 5 years married, and did she ever genuinely care? None of it matters anymore. I am dying regardless. There is zero reason left to keep her trapped. She never truly loved me anyway. I force the corners of my lips upward, trying to fake a natural smile. Just getting a routine checkup. Figured I would just stay admitted to make things simple. Way easier for my insurance. My steady voice actually shocks me. Zara gives a quick nod. Exactly as I predicted, she does not ask a single follow-up question. She shifts her stance, obviously eager to leave. No words of whirring at all. I laugh bitterly to myself, but call out as she brushes past me. Oh, hey, about the property deed for our house. The final step just needs your signature. I slide the divorce agreement out from my medical folder, carefully hiding the main title under my palm, flipping straight to the dotted line on the final page, and hand it to her along with a pen. Zara grabs it, frowning slightly. Years of reviewing medical charts make her deeply sensitive to legal text. She begins flipping backward to scan the previous pages. Right as her manicured fingers are about to reveal the front page, a tall guy strides through the main entrance and completely steals her attention away. Of course, it is Eli. Zara freezes cold, her eyes lock onto him like a magnet. She pauses for half a second, then snaps her focus back, scribbles her signature across the bottom, and shoves the paperwork aggressively against my chest. All right, look, if there is nothing else, you can leave. I have a medical consultation. I am busy. That same old endless impatience. She does not even look at me again. She pivots and marches briskly toward Eli. In that fleeting second, I watch a brilliant smile light her face, vivid and completely alive. In 5 whole years of marriage, she never once looked at me like that. The absolute last shred of tension leaves my body. But a far sharper, deeper agony immediately takes over, tightly gripping my chest. Standing right there, they stand shoulder to shoulder. Eli is tall and handsome. Zara looks absolutely radiant, a perfect match. I turn my face away and drag my leaden feet toward the elevator bank. I almost reach the doors when their happy voices drift down the corridor, echoing with laughter. Zara, was that guy one of your patients? Eli asks, his tone bright. Just some old patient doing a quick follow-up. Zara sounds incredibly soft now, completely different from the freezing tone she gave me. Eli, just give me 1 second. I just need to hand my patient charts to a colleague. I will be right back. You promised to take me to the movies today. His voice bubbles with pure excitement. I just stand there clutching my divorce agreement, which is now completely legally binding, the sharp paper edge slicing into my palm. Looking back over these last 5 years, I just smile. A bitter and totally hollow grin. Honestly, I really did come here for a follow-up. My test results say I have 1 month left. It really will not be much longer. Zara, do not worry. I am giving you your freedom very soon. Back home, I drop the massive pile of hospital meds and begin going through the things from our marriage. There's honestly way more than I ever expected. I plan to toss all of it. I refuse to leave anything behind to annoy her once I'm dead. My body must be hitting its absolute limit, because soon I'm completely winded. I have to stop and catch my breath. I head back into the bedroom to lie down right away. My eyes lock onto the massive wedding portrait hanging over our headboard. In the picture, Zara wears a white gown, but her smile is stiff and miles away. I used to be so blindly in love, thinking that smile was the sweetest thing on earth. Staring at it today, it just physically hurts. I don't even hesitate. I step onto a chair, pull it down, and shove it deep into the darkest corner under the bed, out of sight, out of mind. For the rest of the day, I pack, rest, and pack some more. Then, dead in the middle of the night, a key turns in the lock. Zara is finally home. I'm sitting in the study, sorting old books and paperwork. She pokes her head inside, glances my way, says absolutely nothing, drops her takeout bag on the desk, and heads straight into the bedroom. She must have noticed the empty wall while changing. Barely 2 minutes later, she returns, leaning against the doorway, frowning. Where is the wedding photo? I glance up, completely calm. The frame was coming loose. I worried it might fall and hurt someone, so I took it down. I already ordered a replacement, just waiting on delivery. She buys the excuse, showing zero emotion on her face. Turning to leave, she pauses, remembering something, and says, I brought you a late-night snack. It's on the desk. Get some sleep. A late-night snack. I stand up slowly, opening the bag printed with a local Sichuan restaurant's logo. A thick wave of spicy heat instantly hits my face, pork in chili oil. I stare at the greasy red mess in silence. My stomach immediately starts cramping, yet my eyes burn with tears. 5 long years of marriage. I've always had stomach issues. Spicy food is completely off limits for me. She knows this. She's always known. Yet something this basic never actually crossed her mind. In the past, just to honor the gesture and to make her happy, I would have choked it down. But my body is literally failing now. I can't take any more punishment. Grabbing the bag, I walk downstairs and toss it in the trash, completely untouched. Inside, I cook myself a simple bowl of plain rice porridge. Starting tonight, I'm done hurting myself for Zara. 5 years. I've lived for her for 5 years. This final month, it's my turn to live for me. Finishing the bowl, my stomach finally settles. It's getting late. Remembering the doctor told me to avoid staying up, I head to the bedroom for some rest. Zara already showered. She's lying on her side, back turned to me, breathing steadily like she's fast asleep. Any other night we shared this bed, I'd instinctively reach out, wrapping my arms right around her from behind. She never pulled away, but she never hugged me back, either. Tonight, I stay perfectly still. I face away from her, too. An invisible wall divides us. A few minutes later, Zara's voice floats over, sounding faintly puzzled, cutting right through the quiet. Not holding me tonight. My body freezes for a second, then I fake an excuse. Kind of tired, let's just sleep. She makes a soft little noise and gets quiet. I hear her shifting on the mattress. She probably rolled over again. I figure the night will just pass quietly. But shortly after, Zara flicks on the bedside lamp and sits up. Oh right, she mutters, rubbing her eyes, voice heavy with sleep. That contract you made me sign today, let me double check those terms. I want to make sure nothing's weird. The contract, my entire body goes totally rigid. My heart hammers against my ribs. You really want to look? I turn to her. In the dim bedroom light, her face looks slightly blurry. A sudden wave of panic rises up that I just can't suppress. Not because I fear she refuse the divorce once she finds out. By now, I know better than anyone this divorce will be a total relief for her. It's just that this fake property contract is the last pathetic shred of dignity I have left in this marriage. I really don't want to lose it in front of her. What's wrong? She clearly caught my weird tone. Her brow knits slightly. Nothing. It's too late to hide. I toss the covers, walk to the study, grab the divorce agreement, head back, and hold it out. The cold paper brushes her fingertips. She takes it, pinching the front cover, right about to open it. But in that exact second, the phone on her nightstand lights up, and a sharp ringtone completely shatters the quiet room. Zara glances at the screen out of pure reflex. Instantly, she tosses the unread agreement aside without a second thought and snatches the phone. She answers, and her tone shifts into something I've never heard from her before, gentle and incredibly concerned. "It's so late. Why are you calling all of a sudden?" The background noise is loud muffled music, a man's voice groaning underneath. "Zara, I feel awful. I drank too much. I can't make it home. Can you come be with me?" It's Eli, even garbled through the speaker. I recognize his voice. Instantly, under the lamp, Zara's face barely moves, but she shoots me a rapid glance, flashing a brief spark of panic. She can't mask it. Without skipping a beat, she speaks right into the phone. "Okay, just send me the address." "Stay right there, I'm on my way." She hangs up, kicks off the blankets, and grabs her winter coat. The divorce agreement is completely forgotten. I just sit on the mattress edge watching her scramble around as a heavy, suffocating pressure builds inside my chest. I finally snap. Right as she reaches for the door, I ask, "At this hour, who needs you so badly? Where are you running off to?" Zara's hands freeze on her boots. She refuses to look back. Her voice sounds strained. "It's Director Liu. One of my high-risk IQ patients just crashed. I need to head over immediately. I probably won't be coming home tonight. Don't wait up for me. Get some sleep." She yanks the front door open and vanishes. The bedroom goes completely dead and silent. All I catch is the ragged sound of my own shallow breathing. Then I chuckle, a hollow, bitter sound. And as I do, hot tears stream down my cheeks completely out of nowhere, burning my cold skin. Smiling bitterly, I wipe my eyes and grab the thick divorce papers tossed aside on the mattress, slowly ironing out the creases. It was right there, just one more second. If she'd only flipped to page 1 and spotted those words, "divorce papers," our broken marriage would be out in the open. But she couldn't care less. I bolted the bedroom door, lay in the dark staring at the ceiling until the morning sky turned grey, dragging myself up only when my aching back couldn't take the mattress anymore. When we tied the knot, I gave it absolutely everything. I bought endless little trinkets for us, each piece a naive, foolish fantasy of building a warm house, a life for us. But Zara constantly brushed it off. She refused to touch a single item. Every useless object, packed with my desperate love, gathered dust in the shadows, becoming tragic props in a lonely play I was acting out. I'm totally done trying. I post every single thing on an online marketplace and schedule a courier, eager to trash this fake life. While killing time, I endlessly scroll my phone. On a weird gut feeling, I log into a burner social media profile I hardly ever touch, an account I set up ages ago for a random survey, something I basically forgot I even owned. I reload the timeline, and a fresh update hits me like a truck. Uploaded by Zara, 10 minutes prior, a lone picture snapped from what clearly resembles a fancy hotel's panoramic window. Morning is just cracking. The clouds are brushed in gentle, warm orange tones. The text beneath reads, "Sometimes fate delays you so you can finally meet your soulmate." Feeling blissful, my blood runs ice cold, my thumb locks tight against the glass. After a heartbeat, I toggle back to my main profile and check my cheating wife's page. Just the same empty barrier, restricted to her inner circle, blank. She slipped up and forgot to block my burner when uploading. A crushing wave of sick comedy and brutal heartbreak washes right over me. I attempt a pathetic, sarcastic grin, but my muscles won't even do that. Right here, the fog completely lifts. It all makes sense. In Zara's universe, I was never the one. Not a single time. So, why keep begging? Why drag out a dead marriage? I'd rather walk away gracefully while I still hold onto a tiny scrap of self-respect. The courier eventually knocks. I haul out a heavy cardboard crate full of our shared junk, hand it off, and I'm pivoting to climb the stairs when I almost crash chest first into Zara rushing back inside. She stares at me, then down at the unsealed box on the pavement. Her eyes lock onto the matching mugs inside. Aren't those our belongings? She snaps in shock. My hands clench hard, but I force my tone to stay flat. They've just been sitting here gathering dust. Old, ugly, and eating up my space. I called a guy to haul them off. I'll just buy some fresh stuff to swap them out. I picture that hidden hotel post and a jagged blade of betrayal twists in my gut, but my face stays stone. Right, Zara just nods, drops it completely, brushes right past my shoulder, and heads up. I freeze on the spot, watching her silhouette vanish into the dim stairwell. A freezing, cynical smirk creeps onto my mouth. Zara's brilliant at her job. If she gave a single damn about my life, she would have easily noticed how completely shattered I've been recently, how erratic my temper, how bizarre my behavior was, but she ignored it. She always does, honestly, whatever. I'm erasing myself from her radar soon enough anyway. Zara only doubled back today to grab some medical charts she forgot. The second I step inside, she's hunched in the office, frantically flipping through folders. We don't speak a single syllable. The dead quiet is so intense, the only noise is the gentle scrape of her documents. My health is crashing fast. Just lugging the trash downstairs burnt out every ounce of my energy. I slump onto the couch, gasping for air. Suddenly, a bright chime rings out, and I spot Zara's smartphone resting on the coffee table, the glass glowing with an incoming text. My vision slides right over it. A group text. Dr. Joe, staff dinner tonight. You absolutely must bring that new boyfriend. The whole crew is dying to meet him. Boyfriend? I frown. Whatever tiny flicker of hope remained inside me is suddenly drowned in ice water, leaving absolutely nothing but a wisp of smoke. I consider just pretending I didn't see it. But I look up, locking eyes with Zara as she steps out of the study holding her medical files. She's clearly seen the glowing screen, too. A flash of guilty, caught red-handed embarrassment quickly crosses her face. She opens her mouth to explain, clearly having no idea where to even begin. Watching her stumble, I feel my absolute last scraps of pride and hope sink like a stone. I manage what's probably a deeply pathetic smile and decide to speak first. So, are you planning to bring me tonight? Even asking. I'm not clinging to any real hope. Mostly because ours is a completely secret marriage. Not a single hospital colleague, or even her closest friends, has any idea she's married, let alone that I even exist. I spent the whole weeks at her hospital, and no one recognized me. Look, I already know I hold no real place in her heart. But here I stand like an absolute fool, just wanting to see how she handled the question. I'm begging for just a moment's hesitation. Rain. Zara sighs. Her brow tightens, and her expression looks visibly pained. The sheer reluctance couldn't be more obvious, and there it is. That reaction feels like a freshly sharpened ice pick driving straight into the most vulnerable part of my chest. The pang isn't sharp. It's a painfully slow, terribly thin, bone-deep freezing cold, and it wakes me right up. She has never once treated me like a real husband, or even a basic partner. Not once. I just smile bitterly to myself. I won't put her through the agony. I'll save us both a final scrap of dignity and hand her a way out. Actually, I meant to tell you I've got plans with a buddy tonight, so I probably can't make it anyway. Zara's wave of relief is instant. The tight tension in her shoulders visibly drains, and she completely relaxes. Oh, all right then, maybe another time. I'll introduce you to everyone someday. I let out a soft noise of agreement, say nothing else, and pretend to shut my eyes. Let me tell you exactly how her dinner actually goes. She steps inside that private room alone, and instantly a bunch of her closer female co-workers drag her over to them enthusiastically. Seeing her show up solo, they immediately begin teasing her. Zara, we told you to bring your boyfriend along. Where is he? Don't even try telling us he doesn't exist. We saw it with our own eyes. This seriously tall, handsome guy came looking for you and you took him to a movie. Come on, spill it. When did this begin? You've kept this romance incredibly secret. The relentless teasing from every direction starts overwhelming her. Buckling under the intense peer pressure, she finally nods. All right, fine, let me check if he's free. She pulls out her phone. Staring back at it contacts her lawful husband Muir Eli, the childhood boy next door she grew up with. But tonight feels entirely different from before. Tonight, it's heavily about who she officially claims as her boyfriend. Zara stares hard at those two names. Her thumb hovers over the glowing screen for several painful seconds. Then, as if finalizing some massive internal debate, she taps Eli's name. The line connects immediately. Predictably, Eli agrees without a second thought, and soon he's standing at the private room door. The instant he struts in, he grabs the attention of nearly every woman there. Admiring whispers quickly ripple through the dinner party. No wonder Zara kept him totally hidden. Look at him, tell us, how long have you two been dating? Who made the first move? Zara, you really held out on us. Eli fields the invasive questions effortlessly. When nobody is watching, he secretly reaches under the dinner table and squeezes Zara's hand, showing absolutely zero discomfort. He just laughs and plays along. But when they discover that Eli is 3 years younger than her, the room's energy completely spikes. Everyone demands juicy details. Zara visibly starts struggling, the polite smile on her face stiffening up. Luckily, the calming presence of Director Liu steps in to bail her out. Director Liu pulls out a plain brown envelope and passes it to Zara. Hey, I just saw a patient's family downstairs. They mentioned leaving some critical documents behind in the hospital ward. They asked me to pass them along. Could you swing by on your way out and return them? Zara looks like she just caught a massive lifeline. She shoots Director Liu a deeply grateful glance, grabs the mysterious envelope, and basically flees the dinner. She waits down in the hotel lobby for several long minutes, but absolutely nobody shows up. The night air feels chilly. She grows restless, then extremely curious. After brief hesitation, she finally opens the unsealed envelope. Hoping to figure out exactly who to return it to based on what's inside, she finds 2 separate documents. The first is a patient's medical record. She skims it fast. Diagnosis: terminal cancer. The second page is a voluntary asset waiver for a divorce. You and I know exactly who this is. Already terminal, yet still fighting through a messy divorce. Giving up absolutely everything. Suddenly, her stomach completely drops. A very vague, terrifying, shapeless unease creeps in. She instinctively tries putting it back, but stops cold. She needs to see the patient's name. Just as her trembling fingertips reach for the printed name, my bony, incredibly pale hand reaches in from the side and presses firmly down on the records. Someone snatches the envelope. Excuse me, these are mine. Zara pulls her hand back, glancing up to explain, but she completely freezes the second she realizes who it is. Her voice actually cracks. Rain, why is it you? Her eyes go wide. Her gaze darts frantically between my face and the envelope I am holding. A terrible thought hits her, and suddenly, her voice starts shaking. Those medical records belong to you. That asset waiver is yours too, Rain. What are you doing? Shock and deep suspicion fill her voice, but right beneath that, you can hear a faint trace of absolute panic, and maybe something like actual care. I just meet her gaze and try to keep my voice steady. They aren't mine, they belong to a friend of mine. He doesn't want to be a burden to his wife, so I never planned on running into her here. And I sure never expected her to stumble onto the terminal illness and the impending divorce I have been hiding so carefully. For a split second, an absurd panic rushes through me. Really. Zara narrows her eyes, staring at me like she wants to rip the lie right off my face. She spots my pale skin, that quick flash of nerves. She isn't convinced. She reaches out for the asset waiver again, desperate to see for herself. I just watch her hand reaching toward me. I feel absolutely nothing but pure bitterness. I don't even bother trying to stop her anymore. I just close my eyes and wait for the ugly truth to spill. But the showdown I am bracing for never actually happens. A familiar guy speaks up beside her, and an arm wraps naturally right around Zara's waist. Zara, why did you come all the way down here? Everyone is waiting for you. Eli leans in way too close, totally casual. I open my eyes. I see his easy intimacy, but also the sheer panic flashing across Zara's face at being caught. She instinctively tries yanking away from his grip, trying to spit out a word to me, but with Eli standing there, she just can't bring herself to admit who I am to her. Despite her panic, I feel strangely numb. I shoot a quick glance at Eli, grab the waiver back, and say with cold politeness, "I've got the paperwork. Thank you, Dr. Joe, my buddy is waiting for me. I'll just leave you two to your evening." I don't look at either of them again. I turn on my heel and walk away. Driving home, my chest feels stuffed with wet cotton, completely suffocating. My brain keeps replaying that scene on a loop. His arm wrapping around her waist, Zara freezing up for a split second, but never actually pulling away. As her husband, I should be raging. But maybe because this total dismissal has played out way too many times over the past 5 years, my heart is just dead. No screaming grief, just an endless exhaustion and cold pressing down until simply breathing takes real effort. I spent so long loving her alone, pouring my soul into it, stumbling blindly in a daze, and now this 30-day cooling-off period, this brutal choice to finally let go, feels like an absolute eternity. Every single minute is pure torture. The car window is down. The cold night wind howls in, stinging my eyes, totally blurring my vision. Without even realizing it, two freezing streams slide down my cheeks. I reach up and wipe them away. Tears, so pathetic. Before the stabbing in my chest can even settle, my failing body sends up a violent alarm. A terrifying cramp starts twisting in my gut, tightening in awful waves. Here it comes, without a single warning. The agony explodes through every inch of me. It floods my entire body all at once. Cold sweat breaks out over my forehead and drips down fast. My hands gripping the steering wheel begin trembling totally out of control, my knuckles turning white. The doctor was right. The body doesn't lie. Mine is probably mourning right alongside me, feeling every bit of injustice on my behalf. I let out a hollow laugh, using every last drop of strength just trying to pull the car over. But my body is so drained that even the strength to keep my foot steady on the brake pedal is fading away fast. My vision completely blurs and wavers. The whole world spins and bends right in front of me. Ultimately, all I can do is watch helplessly as my car drifts, slamming hard into the concrete barrier. A massive crash, the airbag exploding right into my chest. The crushing pain swallows me like a wave. Everything just goes dark. When I finally wake up, the sharp smell of bleach tells me I am back in the hospital. A young nurse is changing my fluids. She sees me move and lets out a huge sigh of relief. "You're awake. How do you feel?" "The wreck just left some surface scrapes. I've taken care of those, but you need to call your family right now. The doctor has to speak with someone immediately about your condition. I already know exactly what's happening to me." I answer calmly, "I'm fully aware of my diagnosis. Whatever needs to be said, you can just tell me directly." The nurse blinks, totally shocked. "You knew? Then why were you driving out there alone?" Her face turns dead serious. "Mr. Young, your condition is extremely critical right now. You must notify your family immediately. From this moment on, you aren't leaving this hospital." I let her warnings pass right through me, but the car crash still has to be dealt with. I'm in no shape to leave, and my parents live far away. With literally no other choice, I grab my phone and dial Zara. It rings for what feels like forever, then cuts straight to voicemail, no answer. A row of red missed call notifications glare from the screen, burning into my eyes. My arm drops, the phone sliding right onto the sheet. Of course, right now she is probably out drinking and laughing with Eli and her coworkers, the night hitting its peak. Why would she even spare a single thought for someone as completely irrelevant as me? The nurse beside me watches my face drain. She cannot help but ask, "Is your wife not answering? Would you like the hospital to reach out to your family for you?" I slowly shake my head, "No need. We are already in the divorce cooling off period, just over 20 days left." The nurse clearly did not expect that response. She just stares at me. "Even so, you are seriously injured. She really should at least come and check on you." Check on me? If Zara had ever truly looked my way, even just once, maybe things would never have reached this point. Maybe I would not feel so hollow. 5 years of marriage. I was a fool chasing a shadow, pouring out every last drop of warmth and energy I had, just trying to get close to her. And in the end, I got absolutely nothing real in return. That first year, I cooked a different hot meal for her every night, waiting until the food went stone cold, waiting until midnight. She would finally arrive and ignore the table. Just a cold, ate already. And she would shut the bedroom door. The second year, she pushed through work while battling a fever. I was so worried I took off work, carefully made a gentle stomach-soothing porridge, and brought it to her hospital ward. With eyes like ice, she knocked the thermos over right in front of her co-workers, warning me, "Rain, know your place. Stop overstepping." That afternoon, the scalding hot porridge burned my hand, raising awful blisters, but that pain was nothing compared to the absolute ice in her stare. The third year, I scraped and saved 3 whole months of salary to buy her a luxury handbag. I handed it over, thrilled. But she assumed I had tossed out her old canvas tote and absolutely screamed at me, giving me the silent treatment for 6 whole months. Later on, I realized the beaten-up canvas bag was a graduation gift from Eli, a keepsake she treasured deeply. The 4th year, the 5th year, my heart just ground itself down through endless cycles of hope and crushing disappointment until every single ounce of warmth vanished. For years, it was always me running toward her and her brutally shoving me away every single time. I have finally accepted the truth. Zara never cared about me. Not one shred of real affection, not ever. So tonight, she is not coming, I know it. I force a bitter smile, turning my phone toward the nurse. All those glowing red missed calls glaring back at us. We are not even going to make it to the divorce. The nurse stares at my screen, opens her mouth, then finally lets out a quiet sigh. At least call a friend or a co-worker. You really cannot be alone here right now. After she leaves the room, I dial Marcus. He is the only guy in this city I actually trust. Marcus shows up instantly first. He hits the traffic police station to sort out all my accident paperwork. Then, he comes back and gets me checked out of the hospital. Days later, when my car is ready, he takes me to grab it from the body shop, and there, of all places, we bump into Zara. She spots the wrecked front end of my car and is visibly shaken. "You were in a car crash. When? Why did you not tell me?" I just look at her. The memory of that bright screen packed with ignored calls floods my mind instantly. Words rise in my throat, then quickly dissolve. Whatever, let it go. What is the point? Fender bender. I am totally fine, I say flatly. You were always swamped. I really did not want to bother you. Something about my absolute stillness, the sheer distance in it, sparks a weird reaction in Zara, something that looks remarkably like guilt. She opens her mouth, instinctively rushing to explain herself. "Look, that night, Eli and I just happened to be at the exact same venue. Everyone blew it out of proportion. It really meant nothing. Please do not read into it." I give a slight nod, glance away, and ask like it just crossed my mind. "I heard you got divorced." Zara obviously does not expect the question. She pauses, then nods. "Yes, it has been a while, and you?" I pause, my eyes returning to her face. I flash a completely hollow smile. "You must be pretty thrilled about that. And very soon, you will be even happier." That last bit slips out like a whisper, mostly just to myself. What is that supposed to mean? Zara frowns, barely catching the words and completely confused. She is about to press me when her cell rings. She glances down at the screen, her expression shifting slightly. She holds up one finger and steps away to grab the call. About 10 minutes later, by the time Zara returns, Marcus and I are already inside the car, ready to roll. The window is barely cracked, and my voice drifts out carrying a quiet smirk. What is the rush? 10 more days and the divorce cooling off period is officially over. Then it is a clean, peaceful break. Those words pierce Zara right in the ears like sharp needles. Her chest seizes up without warning. She simply cannot stop her mind from flashing back to that envelope, to the voluntary asset waiver outside the diner, and those terminal medical records. A terrifying connection suddenly grips her in a flash. She bolts to the car, gripping the half-open window, voice shaking in a way she probably doesn't even realize. "Rain, what did you just say? What cooling off period? Who is getting divorced? Is it you? Are you divorcing me?" I was completely caught off guard. I never expected her to come charging at me with all these frantic questions. Meeting those sharp eyes that seem to slice right through all my defenses, I feel a sudden flash of guilt and blind panic, but I force myself to breathe. Out of pure instinct, I gesture at Marcus sitting in the passenger seat. It isn't me. I look away, keeping my tone as casual as possible. It's Marcus. He's the one getting a divorce. I shoot Marcus a quiet, desperate look. Marcus freezes up for a second, then catches on. He forces himself to hold Zara's sharp stare, nodding awkwardly. Yeah, that's right, I'm the one getting divorced. It's a massive mess at home right now. His voice sounds totally stiff. Hearing that, something inside Zara visibly relaxes. But then, the image of those terminal medical records flashes right back to the front of her mind. She turns her piercing gaze on Marcus, scanning him up and down. With the sharp eye she honed over years as a doctor, she spots the truth. Marcus looks tired, sure, but his skin color is perfectly healthy, and his energy is fine. He doesn't look at all like a man battling a terminal illness on borrowed time. Her suspicion doesn't fade, it deepens. Your illness, she says, staring hard at Marcus with a pointed tone. He glances at me again, catches my silent plea, and has absolutely no choice but to play along. Oh, right, I have a health issue. I just don't want to be a burden to my family. So that's why. Still, Zara isn't buying it. Her eyes are wide with total disbelief. At this point, I realize if she pushes any further, my whole secret falls apart. I quickly step in, letting a heavy, exhausted weariness bleed into my voice. Enough. Zara, you're a doctor. You should know exactly how a patient feels. Sometimes, just letting go is a relief for everyone. I pause, then forcefully steer the conversation away. Honestly, that day at the hospital, I just took him in for tests. I was going to ask you to take a look at the results while we were there, but you were so swamped, and you had a friend visiting. We really didn't want to bother you. The second I bring up that day, Zara's gaze visibly drops, flashing with instant guilt. Eli had come to see her, and now she's terrified I might be dropping hints, or worse, that I actually saw them together. I see, her thoughts scatter instantly. She instinctively dodges my eyes, and her tone turns incredibly stiff. Well, if your friend feels any discomfort at all, he needs a proper checkup. Please don't wait too long. Deeply flustered, she wraps up the entire topic with a quick piece of medical advice and moves right on. I might have survived this round, but I feel zero relief. I know exactly what is racing through Zara's guilty mind right now. She doesn't actually buy a single word of Marcus's story. She's just terrified I'll interrogate her about the day she spent with Eli, terrified I might expose their little affair. With that razor-sharp eye she honed as a doctor, if she bothered to look closely at me, she could have easily spotted the sickness in my own face and posture. I look a million times worse than Marcus. I have that grey, hollow, sunken look that only belongs to someone who is truly dying. But the second Eli is involved, all her medical judgment completely vanishes. I guess that's exactly what it looks like to be completely, hopelessly blinded by love. I watch Zara lingering by the car, nervously glancing down at her phone over and over. I already know the drill. She's about to invent some excuse to bail. Sure enough, less than 60 seconds later, her phone buzzes. She checks the screen and immediately spins around. There's a critical patient down in the air. Director Lou needs me back on site right now. Rain, you just had an accident. You really shouldn't be driving alone for a while. Maybe it's guilt from her obvious lie. Or maybe it's the pale, deathly look on my face she can't quite ignore. Either way, right before leaving, she tosses out a phrase she rarely uses, something that almost sounds like genuine care. If you ever need a ride somewhere, just let me know. I'll drive. I stare at her. Absolutely nothing stirs inside me. If anything, the offer is painfully funny. But some morbid curiosity makes me say, sure. In about 3 days, I have a company-arranged work trip. You can drop me at the airport. Zara freezes mid-turn, as if she genuinely never expected me to actually say yes. She stares back, meeting my calm, deadpan gaze. She hesitates for 2 solid seconds, then slowly nods. Okay, 3 days from now. Got it? And just like that, she speeds off. 3 days later, I wait from sunrise to sunset, and then deep into the pitch-black night. Outside, the city lights up, bright neon glowing. the Friday night just getting fired up. The noisy chaos of the streets is barely beginning, but the person I'm waiting for never shows. I stand out on the balcony, staring at the empty parking spot below. My heart is completely dead. I already knew this would happen, did I not? Maybe I silently hoped for it, just so the last shreds of this ridiculous, pathetic hope inside my chest could finally die off. Pulling out my phone, I log into my burner account and refresh the feed. Zara's profile picture sits right at the top. No caption, just a quick video clip. I tap play. The background shows a night beach. The dark sky is bursting with fireworks, exploding one after another, so bright they light up the whole ocean below. Right in the center of the frame, a man's profile is glowing in neon light. Head tilted toward the sky with a huge, carefree smile. It is Eli. The video cuts off quickly. I switch right back to my main account and check Zara's real page. Just a blank wall, nothing. I let out a hollow laugh. It echoes through the empty, quiet room, sounding incredibly bleak. So this was her big emergency. Once again, she ditched me without a single thought, all for Eli. Actually, ditched is the wrong word. She probably never even registered that promise to me in the first place. I pull up Zara's contact and hit call. It rings forever. Just as I expect voicemail to kick in, someone answers. The background is chaotic, crashing waves. The heavy thud of fireworks, rain. Zara's voice comes through with that same flat tone she always gives me, and underneath it, a thin layer of sharp impatience. I grip the phone tight. My fingers feel frozen, but I force my voice steady. Hey, it is me. Where are you? A pause. Then Zara answers without a single stutter. I am out of town. The hospital sent me to a medical conference last minute. It was super rushed. I had no time to tell you. I will be back in a couple days. Her words ride right over the obvious sounds of fireworks and beach waves blasting through the speaker. The irony is poetic. Whatever final drop of warmth left in me turns to ice. I do not even care to expose her lie. When did you leave? I ask, my voice totally dead. The night before last. Short notice. Is something wrong? She asks. Not a thing. I stare down. Stay safe. Get some rest. I know you too. The line goes dead. The dial tone drones on, and I slowly lower the phone. Naturally, Eli will always be her priority. I was just a convenient placeholder she kept around for years to fill the lonely gaps. Thank God I woke up when I did. I still have just enough time before I die to push away the woman who never loved me, to give her back her freedom with my own two hands, and finally let myself go. I open my phone calendar and scroll down, counting the days until our legal cooling off period ends. 7 days left, Zara, in 1 week. We will have absolutely nothing left between us. I try smiling, but my spine folds forward before the thought even finishes. A violent coughing fit tears through my chest. I slam a hand over my mouth. My vision blurs dark at the edges. My insides feel like they are being shredded apart. When the spasm finally stops, I open my hand. Wet, bright red blood stares right back. My countdown has officially begun. With Zara gone this week, I wanted to use the quiet time to clear out all my remaining stuff, leave the apartment totally empty and spotless, but my failing body refuses to cooperate. The slightest movement triggers cold sweats, dizzy spasms, and heavy breathing. Out of options, I call up some professional movers to come pack boxes and haul away all my personal belongings. As for where it all goes, I honestly have not figured that out yet. Should I let these boxes full of old memories rot in the ground with me? No, but they cannot stay here either. Once I am dead, the absolute last thing I want is my stuff sitting around irritating her. But the one thing I completely failed to expect was that right while the movers were working in full swing, Zara walks through the front door. She freezes in the open doorway, staring at the strangers packing the apartment. Watching the living room slowly getting stripped bare, she goes totally still. Rain. She steps closer, sounding completely shocked and confused. Who are these people? What is going on? I have my excuse locked and ready. I speak calmly. The renovations on the new place are almost finished. It is way quieter over there, much more private. I figured I could start moving my things over gradually. You are a really light sleeper and moving gets loud. I did not want to wake you. Something flickers across Zara's face, a flash of recognition. She seems to remember those property transfer papers she signed at the hospital and just gives a tiny nod. Zero suspicion, maybe thinking back to my hospital trip, she asks casually, "Oh, by the way, those results from your health checkup, can I see them? I want to check if there is anything we should watch out for." My chest tightens up. My face stays completely blank. I just keep sorting through a stack of books and answer casually, "Everything is a mess from the movers. I cannot find the paperwork right now, but it was nothing serious anyway. Everything looked perfectly fine, do not worry about it." Zara makes a soft little hum, letting her gaze linger on my face for a second. She finally seems to notice just how pale and exhausted I look. Her lips part slightly, but in the end, all she actually says is, "You look terrible. Are you just burnt out from moving? Make sure you get some rest." She refuses to let herself imagine anything worse. In her mind, maybe I have just always been like someone who can be pushed forever, someone who'd never get seriously sick. "I know," I reply, going back to sorting my boxes. Zara doesn't leave, she just stands there in the living room, looking kind of lost, watching the movers take out box after box. Then she notices the pattern and frowns. "How come they're only taking your stuff? Shouldn't mine go over to?" My hands freeze. I don't look up at her. "Let's start with mine. A lot of your things are super personal, and I honestly don't know what you want to bring or leave behind. Better to let you decide." Ever since the day 2 years ago, when I accidentally touched her private drawer and sparked 6 months of cold silence, Zara made the boundary incredibly clear. Her things are strictly off limits. A few heavy seconds of silence pass. Zara must be remembering it too. A quick flash of discomfort crosses her face. She doesn't push it. Instead, she glances around the emptying living room, almost wistfully, or maybe she's just filling the dead air. Feels weird with so much gone at once. Takes getting used to, but I guess it makes the place feel way more open. I just make a quiet sound of agreement, force a weak smile, and keep my mouth shut. Once the last box is gone, I follow the movers downstairs and watch them load everything onto the moving truck. Right before they leave, I secretly hand a guy a paper with my parents' address back home. I'm not going back there just to die. For my final days, I want to be completely alone, but I'm still their son. I can't leave them with absolutely nothing to hold on to. These old belongings, let them be the very last piece of me they get. I watch the truck roll away, then turn around. To my utter surprise, Zara is standing right at the building's entrance, watching me silently. "Why'd you come down?" I ask her. She actually looks a bit dazed herself. She hesitates, no real reason. "Just wanted to see, wanna take a walk." I'm completely stunned. Zara is actually asking to walk with me. In 5 whole years together, this hasn't happened a single time. As rare as this is, my legs feel like lead, but I don't refuse. I'm walking anyway. We stroll side by side down the quiet apartment complex path, neither of us saying a word. The tension between us is pretty thick and awkward. We've barely walked 10 feet when someone suddenly rounds the corner ahead. It's Eli. My world stops spinning. In a split second, Zara jerks her arm away from mine like she touched a live wire, instantly stepping sideways to put real distance between us. Pure, unmistakable panic flashes across her face. She stares at me, then back at Eli, her mouth opening, but 0 words come out. "What are you doing here?" she finally asks Eli, her voice sounding totally strained. Eli lets his gaze rest on me for a second, studying me, then shifts right back to Zara. His smile doesn't waver at all, just visiting a friend nearby. "She knows you live in this building? Since graduation, she's been saying she wanted to come visit you, but never had the chance. Today, she happened to be in the area, so she figured she'd swing by and surprise you." The words are meant for Zara, but his eyes keep drifting back to me, subtle, but totally deliberate. "Zara, who's this?" he asks politely, but his cold stare carries a sizing up and intense curiosity that only another guy would catch. He definitely recognizes me. He saw me at the hospital and outside the restaurant before. Now I'm right here at Zara's apartment, walking with her. His gut is screaming at him that there's definitely something more going on between Zara and me. For once, Zara is totally speechless. She looks at me, then at Eli, desperately scrambling for some way to introduce me. Before she can invent a lie, I step right forward, offering my hand to Eli with a perfectly polite and distant smile. I'm Rain Yong. I used to be Dr. Joe's patient. I haven't been feeling well lately, and since I am going through a messy divorce, I'm in a pretty dark headspace. I just came to Dr. Joe for some advice, maybe a little emotional support, I guess. My voice sounds completely flat, like I'm describing a tragedy happening to somebody else entirely. Eli shakes my hand, but his eyes dart straight to Zara, fact-checking me. Zara instantly relaxes and just runs with the excuse I fed her. Yeah, this is Mr. Young and Mr. Young. This is my friend Eli. She introduces us awkwardly, totally accepting my fake doctor-patient cover story without a second thought. I see Eli nods, his smile warming up a little. You do look pretty pale, Mr. Young. Take care of yourself. Zara is a fantastic doctor. You definitely came to the right person. A brief, heavy silence hangs there. Zara seems to feel the awkward tension and rushes to kill it. Eli, perfect timing. Come on upstairs, Mr. Young, you too. I'm about to say no, but something about the quiet pleading in Zara's eyes and the absolute absurdity of this situation makes me change my mind completely. Honestly, I could use some water, and I kinda want to see how this plays out. Back inside, Eli spots the half-cleared traces of the move and looks really surprised. Zara, are you moving today? No. Zara shoots me a glance and explains, Mr. Young just had some things he needed to clear out. He'd been keeping them here. Oh, I see. Eli nods and drops the whole subject. Zara waves us over to the couch and heads into the kitchen to boil the kettle. Now, the living room is just me and Eli. The dead quiet settles right back in. We don't know each other at all. There's literally nothing obvious to talk about, but Eli turns out to be the one to break the ice. He leans in close, genuine curiosity on his face, and says, Rain, I heard you mention you're going through a divorce. I hope it's not too forward to ask, but what exactly happened? If you'd rather not talk about it, just forget I even asked. I freeze up. I didn't expect him to ask something so personal so bluntly, but looking right into his clear, open eyes, I stay quiet for a second. Then I let out a soft, bitter little laugh. It's nothing I mind sharing. My wife has always been in love with somebody else. Eli clearly doesn't expect that answer. A quick flash of discomfort crosses his face. He murmurs, I'm so sorry, Rain. I really shouldn't have asked. It's fine. I shake my head. My voice stays perfectly calm. It's all in the past. Eli studies my face, decides I'm not too shattered about it, and finally opens up. He gets this look of deep, personal understanding and lets out a heavy sigh. Honestly, Rain, I just went through a divorce myself. I'm a little surprised. I already knew he and his wife had separated, but hearing it straight from him directly just hits differently. How did you get through it? A gentle look washes over Eli's face, pure gratitude and softness all at once. His tone brightens. I only made it through because of Zara. He gets lost in the memory, his gaze drifting somewhere far away. Right after my divorce, I was an absolute wreck. Felt like my entire world collapsed. It was Zara. When she found out, she forced her way back into my life without a second thought. She talked with me, took me out, pulled me back from that darkness one step at a time. You know, Rain, back when I was a kid getting bullied, Zara was always the very first one to run out and defend me, even when she took a beating too. When I came down with a bad fever, she stayed awake all night worrying, snuck over the wall into my house, held me, and gently coaxed me into taking my medicine. Honestly, maybe she's the reason I even thought being a doctor was a path worth taking. Later on during school days, whenever she had free time, she would be waiting at the corner, spending her own allowance on snacks for me while she went completely hungry herself. I remember every single bit of it. So, when I went through the divorce, she was the first to reach out, to comfort me, to stay right by my side. Without her, I honestly don't know what I'd even look like today. I probably would have fallen apart completely. Eli's voice is thick with dependence and gratitude. And every single word he says lands like a tiny, precise hammer striking my already shattered heart. The Zara he describes sounds tender and brave, totally selfless, and completely full of strength. That's not the Zara I know at all. Right in this moment, a sickening bitterness I can't even put into words rises from the very bottom of my chest, flooding through every part of my body at once. I finally understand it clearly, with zero room left for doubt. Zara isn't naturally a cold person, she just gave every single drop of her warmth and courage to the guy sitting right in front of me. Zara isn't emotionless, she just made sure that one special space in her heart would always belong to Eli. Nothing and absolutely no one was ever going to take it. She finally gets everything she's ever wanted. As I piece the truth together, I honestly almost want to laugh out loud, partly because I'm finally free now, and partly because the guy the first used to be was just so pathetic. She never had a single thought to spare for me. Yet I fell for her like a complete fool, and stayed exactly like that for years. I poured my entire heart and soul into loving her. I nearly lost my own life doing it. Was it worth it? Rain, you damn well deserve this pain. Eli sees the utter stillness on my face and probably thinks he struck a chord, that I get him. The way he looks at me right now carries a genuine warmth, like he just found a kindred spirit. After a long, quiet hesitation, Eli drops his voice and asks the very question he's been burying deep inside. Rain, I feel like you really get me, so I want to ask you something. Do you think Zara and I have a real chance? Could we actually be together? His question hits like an ice-cold arrow, piercing straight through the very last shred of composure I even have left. I stare right into Eli's eyes, full of raw hope and nervous energy, and I just feel everything at once. The sheer absurdity of this moment nearly swallows me whole. I glance around the half-empty living room, where the furniture and decorations I once carefully picked out used to fill up every corner. Now it's just a blank space, waiting to be totally claimed by somebody else. I take a very slow, deep breath. With a quiet calm that borders on absolute cruelty, I give him a genuine answer. Honestly, I don't know Zara that well, but hearing you talk about her today, I think she really is someone worth holding on to. If your heart already has an answer, if you both feel the exact same way, I pose, pushing past the sharp ache in my chest, then I support you. Go after what you want. Eli's eyes light up instantly. The heavy look he gives me is pure gratitude, like a massive weight has been lifted off him. Thank you, Rain, seriously. Thank you for understanding. Just then, Zara walks out carrying some freshly brewed tea. Tea's ready, come have some. A subtle, uneasy silence falls over the room. Everyone seems totally lost in their own thoughts, making stiff small talk just to fill the dead quiet. As evening creeps in, Eli suddenly brightens up. Rain, come grab dinner with us tonight, my treat. Think of it as a thank you for talking me through before I can even answer. Zara freezes by the front door with her shoes half on. For a split second, she glances over at me. Her face is completely blank, but something hangs unspoken between us. Of course, I get it instantly. Why would she want her soon-to-be ex-husband crashing a night out with the guy she actually likes? I just force a quiet smile and stand up. I think I will pass. Work has been crazy anyway. I am totally beat and just want to sleep. You to go have fun. Eli tries pushing it, but Zara acts fast. She shoves her keys into his hand and practically shoves him out the door. Eli, go wait in the car for me. I just need to discuss a medical follow-up with Rain really fast. Her voice leaves absolutely no room for debate. The heavy door clicks shut, and suddenly the apartment only holds the two of us. The silence feels suffocating. I can hear my own slow, heavy pulse pounding, matching her jagged breathing. Standing across from me, that familiar flash of helpless panic takes over Zara's face. She opens her mouth, grasping for words, desperate to justify what just happened with Eli. You do not have to make this weird. I cut in first, my voice completely dead. We agreed before the wedding to keep our marriage hidden. I gave you my promise, and I intend to keep it. Your friends will never know. I say it like I am reading a contract that has absolutely nothing to do with me. Zara blinks, clearly thrown off guard. The tight panic in her face melts, quickly replaced by something complicated, a mix of deep relief and maybe a tiny flash of guilt. Rain, thank you. She whispers it, her fingers nervously twisting the edge of her shirt. Please just give me a little more time. I am still getting used to this, the whole secret marriage thing. When the time is right, I will tell everyone that you are my husband. She hands me another empty promise. She sounds so genuine, but my heart froze over a long time ago. Once she leaves, I completely break. I lunge toward the coffee table, rip out a handful of tissues, and crush them against my mouth. After a violent coughing fit that tears right through my chest, I slowly open my hand. The tissue is soaked in bright red blood. Zara, oh Zara, I do not care anymore if you ever tell a single soul about us. 5 years married, and I have already burned through every single drop of hope I ever had. And now, I am literally dying. There is no tomorrow for us anymore. These last few days, I just want to live for myself. I have barely scrubbed the blood away when my phone suddenly buzzes. It is a text message from Professor Chen, my favorite mentor from back in college. Rain, October 13th is the school's 80th anniversary reunion. Your old classmates keep asking about you. It has been way too long. Hope you can come visit everyone. Staring at his message, something warm yet agonizing twists inside my chest. Back in college, I went after Zara with everything I had and failed miserably. I crashed into awful self-doubt and sadness more times than I can count. Professor Chen always pulled me back, time after time. He pushed me forward, dragging me out of the dark. After graduation, life took over and our connection totally faded. So much so that now, with my clock running out, I nearly forgot about him. Nearly, I do not hesitate. I text back immediately. Of course I will be there. Professor would not miss it. We trade a few quick texts, then the chat wraps up. My failing body feels exactly like a broken engine running on fumes. Just standing and talking for 5 minutes, handling a few basic chores, leaves me completely wiped out. I wash up early and hit the bed. But tonight, Zara actually comes home, way earlier than normal. She is holding a greasy bag of takeout. The deadbolt clicking wakes me. I stare at the plastic boxes in her hands. No need to guess. Probably spicy food my wrecked stomach cannot handle. She looks shocked to see me already in bed. Sorry, I had no idea you were asleep. Did I wake you? It is fine. I shake my head, my voice totally raspy. I drag myself up to use the bathroom. When I finally walk back, Zara is leaning against the headboard, swiping through her phone. She suddenly glances up at me, looking like she just made a huge decision. She clears her throat. Rain, have you not always said you wanted a beach vacation? Next month, I can swap a hospital shift. I will take you. The offer hits me out of absolutely nowhere. Is this her way of making amends? I do not care anymore. The divorce cooling off period has literally days left. I do not want any more drama, and I refuse to be tangled up with her anymore. So I just calmly shake my head and say no. Work has been crazy. I cannot get away. Zara stares, completely taken aback. Total confusion fills her eyes, because honestly, ever since we met, I was the one begging for plans, always the one making the effort. She was always the one brushing me off with some weak excuse. For once, she is the one who tries, and I shoot it down. She processes it, probably assuming I am just jealous over Eli. The heavy guilt inside her must be growing. Surprisingly, she refuses to let it go. She sits there, tossing out one idea after another. A new movie, a fancy spot that just opened, even a concert. I reject them all. I cannot let her see how sick I am, or how certain I am about leaving. Finally, before she can suggest another plan, I speak up. There is an alumni reunion at our old college on October 13th. Professor Chen asked me to visit. Do you want to go? My voice is flat. Less like a date, more like a fact. Hearing that, Zara visibly relaxes. It is like she finally found a way to fix our marriage. She agrees instantly. No problem. I will switch shifts that day and we will go together. Having a solid plan eases the guilt on her face a little. She lies down, her breathing quickly turning deep and steady. I just lie with my back to her, eyes wide open, staring at the shadows on the wall. The digital clock glows faintly in the dark room, counting down in total silence. The event is on the 13th. The 14th is when our 30-day divorce cooling off period officially ends. This reunion will likely be the very last time my wife and I share a room. Maybe because I am finally walking away, a strange lightness fills my chest. I even managed to joke around. I promised the professor we would be there. Do not stand me up this time. Zara stays facing the other way. Her voice is heavy with sleep. Relax, I promise. Go to bed. It is late. The room goes quiet once again. I smile faintly, say absolutely nothing, and close my eyes. Over the next few days, Zara never comes home. She is likely swamped at the clinic, or helping Eli survive his own split. I use my remaining free time to pack up whatever is left of my belongings and ship them to my parents. On the morning of our college reunion, I find an outfit I always wore back on campus. It hangs off me now, but the classic look holds up. I style my hair to match how I wore it back then and grab the vintage camera I have owned forever. Today, I am saying a final goodbye to a toxic relationship that was doomed to fail. I am literally walking out the door when the lock clicks. Zara steps inside. I am genuinely stunned. This time, she actually kept her word. We head down together. She drives with the windows cracked, the crisp autumn breeze rushing across my face. It has been so long since I let my mind go completely blank, just enjoying the fresh air. My mood is surprisingly good today. Zara seems to feel that relaxed energy, too. There is a rare warmth in her eyes, and she even mentions a few funny memories from our old classes. Things feel unusually light between us, almost like there was never another man between us at all. Soon enough, her car pulls up to our old campus. The familiar tall trees, the classic red brick walls. It pulls me back immediately. Zara unbuckles her seatbelt, sounding cheerful. Let us head out. We will wander the grounds first, soak up the college nostalgia, then grab dinner with Professor Chen tonight. I am just about to open the passenger door when the phone she left on the console suddenly lights up. A loud ringtone shatters the easy vibe in the car. She glances at the bright screen. It is Eli. Her fingers freeze entirely. A brief hesitation crosses her face, but only for a split second. She answers the call. I sit frozen in the passenger seat, the door still shut tight. The car is dead silent. Through the speaker, his tearful voice drifts over to me. Zara, I fell down. My ankle, I think it is broken. It is badly swollen. I cannot move at all. Please come. Zara changes her expression immediately. She leans forward, sounding frantic and terrified for him. Is it bad? Do not try to move. I am coming. She hangs up the phone and turns to me. Her face screams guilt and conflict. I am so sorry, Rain. Her words rush out. Eli hurt his ankle really badly. He is all alone and I am worried sick. I need to go help him. You go enjoy the reunion. I will try to be back before dinner. All right. I stare at her panicked face and feel absolutely nothing inside, not even disappointed. The exact second I heard his voice, I knew. My wife had chosen again, and it was not me. Sure, go. I nod my head and step out of the car. Nice and quick. She does not even say sorry again. The tires squeal, merging into traffic, disappearing completely. I walk alone down the familiar paved paths of the campus, drifting without a clear thought toward every spot I used to haunt while trying to win her heart. The quiet library corner she loved, the bench on the green lawn she always sat on, the shaded walkway she took after every single class, the back door of the campus gym where I once worked up the courage to ask for her phone number and got brutally rejected. I take pictures of every spot, keeping the memories to hold on to. After that, I visit Professor Chen at the staff housing. We chat for a long time. It feels amazing. He is still the exact same, warm and full of life advice, constantly looking out for his students. But halfway through our catch-up, Professor Chen adjusts his glasses and stares at me for a while. His forehead wrinkles with whirring rain. You do not look healthy at all. Are you working yourself to death? Your health always comes first. Do not struggle through this alone. Something warm washes over me, followed by a sharp ache. Even a mentor I have not seen in years can instantly tell how sick I am, but my wife, an actual doctor. Zara, when did you ever actually look at me? After finishing dinner with the professor, I take a taxi home alone. My phone vibrates on the ride. I log into my burner account and check Zara's feed. Sure enough, a new post. No caption, just a short video. I click play. It shows Eli's living room. His ankle looks terribly swollen, wrapped tightly in an ice pack. Zara's delicate fingers are gently massaging cream into his skin. The camera pans, flipping around to her face. She puts a finger to her lips, typing out, needs some urgent advice. Who knows what fixes a sprained ankle besides ice and cream? What actually brings down the pain and swelling? Need answers quickly. Poor guy, just tragic. 2 heart emojis at the end, absolutely dripping with pity. Right then, I remember the promises Zara made just a few days ago, her desperate little attempt to win me back, and a quiet, bitter laugh escapes my chest. What was even the point of that act? Zara, deep down, I never stood a chance against Eli, not once. I was always last place. But if you realized our marriage was actually ending permanently, if you knew my clock was literally running out, would you feel even a tiny bit of guilt? That thought will never get an answer from my wife, and honestly, I stopped caring months ago. The taxi rolls past Mr. Jiang's legal practice, and I tell the driver to pull over. I step out and walk inside, pushing open the heavy door to his office. I find him digging through case files. He glances up, completely caught off guard, and jumps to his feet. Mr. Young, what brings you in today? Are you holding up okay? I am fine. I take a chair across from him and cut right to the chase. Mr. John, today marks the final day of the 30-day mandatory waiting period for the divorce. I just need to verify this. After midnight tonight, does the legal separation finalize automatically? Is there any paperwork either of us still needs to sign? He looks up, closely studying me from behind his thick glasses. My hollow, sickly face clearly shocks the poor guy. He hesitates for a couple of seconds before speaking. Yes, Mr. Young, under current law, once that 30-day window closes, assuming nobody files a withdrawal at the registry office, then starting tomorrow morning, your marriage is completely dissolved. He pauses. His tone softens, turning gentle and sincere. Congratulations on starting this brand new chapter. I hope everything ahead is bright. Everything bright, for a guy whose body is already ticking down to 0. That has to be the purest, most impossible wish anyone could offer. I thank him deeply and head out. Sitting in the taxi, finally, this exhausting and toxic saga with Zara is coming to a close. This marriage cost me everything I had left to give. The finish line is ugly, but at least it is over. Right through the next afternoon, Zara never steps foot back home. Not one text message, honestly. I do not care. I copy the campus photos from yesterday onto a flash drive and carry them down to the local print shop to get physical copies. Once they are printed, I sit down at my desk and grab a pen. On the back of every single snapshot, I scribble down a few sentences. Every image acts like a key, unlocking buried memories. Little things I thought had totally vanished are actually burned right into my bones. Scribbling away, I actually feel proud of the man I was back then. Then the hour arrives. The divorce waiting period runs out, triggering the most violent coughing fit since my diagnosis. I am hunched over the bathroom sink, gagging until the room spins black and my eyesight flashes, like my failing organs are trying to rip their way out of me. The physical agony is blinding, but beneath the surface, my spirit feels like it is gently floating away. A weird, ghostly comfort. When the bleeding finally slows down, I lack the energy to scrub the porcelain. All I can manage is twisting the faucet, letting icy water wash away the dark red stains. I drag my heavy legs into the living room, leaning hard against the drywall. I grab my camera and flip it into recording mode. I need to leave Zara one final goodbye. Staring down the lens, I try to talk, but another coughing fit shreds my throat. It literally rips me open, forcing hot tears down my cheeks whether I want to cry or not. I probably look like a walking corpse right now, but I push through the pain. Zara, as you can see, I am rapidly dying. I did the math once, and loving you has consumed roughly half of my time on Earth. It sounds insane to say aloud, yet here I am, remembering all the foolish things I did for you. I gave this marriage absolutely everything I had, but I am sorry. I never won your heart, so I am dropping the rope. With my final days on the clock, I am handing back your freedom. Go love Eli. Do not try to find me for my last few sunsets. I just want peace and quiet. And Zara, I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you find whatever it is you were looking for. Before the recording cuts out, I force my shattered face into something resembling a warm smile. Then I hit stop. The digital clock strikes midnight. I grab our signed divorce papers, stack them neatly next to the printed memories, and place the heavy camera on top, like sealing a tomb. I slowly scan the quiet apartment I have called home for 5 long years. Under my breath, I whisper, "Goodbye, Zara, goodbye, Rain." I crack the front door open and walk out forever. I booked a one-way flight back to my hometown. Before the curtain drops, I just want to see my parents again, to share a few quiet days with them, and then head out alone to finish the journey I never got to complete. Riding to the airport, I pull out my iBlock Zara across every app. Then, I dial my parents. "Mom, Dad, it is me. I have a massive work trip coming up. It might be tough to get a hold of me. As for Zara, she lost her phone, so she is off the grid. If you need anything, just use my new number." Oh, and her old account, she probably will not use it again. Just delete it so you do not bother her. I deliver this in a totally flat voice, spinning a terribly messy lie. On the other end, my parents sound a bit confused, but ultimately, they choose to trust their son. Done. I sever every single tie that could ever lead anyone back to me, so I can vanish in peace. Meanwhile, across town, Zara spent the entire night over at Eli's place. By sunrise, the swelling in his injured ankle went down just enough, and he finally drifted off into a heavy sleep. Only then did she drag herself back home, completely drained. She checks the clock. Almost noon. Suddenly, it dawns on her that she stood me up yet again yesterday. Driving back, she dials my number, eager to apologize, explain everything, and ask how my reunion went. "The number you have reached is unavailable. Please try again later." She tries calling me more than 20 times. Every single attempt yields that same freezing, automated voice. Zara grips the steering wheel tight. A heavy, unexplainable panic rises in her chest. In 5 years of marriage, this is the very first time she absolutely cannot get a hold of me. She tries sending a text instead, and a bright red exclamation mark appears. Zara can hardly believe what she is seeing. She slams on the brakes and pulls the car over. Checking again and again, it is real. Calls fail. She has been completely blocked. Her mind races back to my recent bizarre behavior. Getting rid of all our shared belongings. Moving out early, my pale skin, how exhausted I looked, and that sudden mention of a divorce cooling off period at the lawyer's office. A horrifying thought crawls up her spine like ice. Her chest tightens in absolute panic. Something incredibly important is slipping right through her fingers. She floors the gas pedal. The car rips straight back toward our home. She shoves the front door wide open and freezes. All her stuff is exactly where she left it, but every single trace of me is wiped completely clean, like I never even lived there. Zara feels her heart pounding violently. She bolts straight into the bedroom and rips open the closet. My half is entirely bare. The study, the balcony, the bathroom. Zero proof that I ever occupied any of those spaces. She realizes I really moved out. It is all gone, but wait, the new apartment. Zara clings to that thought like a lifeline and speeds over to the place I supposedly bought. She turns her key, swinging the door open to absolutely nothing. No furniture, just freezing walls and empty floors catching the fading daylight from outside. Nobody has ever lived here. The property deed, the moving truck. Every single bit of it was a massive lie. The dread crushing Zara is so heavy she can hardly breathe. Her brain short circuits. Pure terror suffocates her. She has no idea how she even drives back to our old apartment. Moving on raw instinct, she sweeps every room, praying I am just hiding in a corner or that I left some clue behind. Then she stumbles back into the bedroom, and her gaze drops to the knitstand. Sitting quietly right there, a stack of photos, my old camera, and a legal document. Seeing that familiar camera instantly loosens the tight knot in her chest. Okay, this camera is his most prized possession. He always claimed it sparked his love for photography, a precious gift from his mom. It is still here. He could not have gone far. Maybe he just needed breathing room. She crosses the floor like a drowning woman grabbing driftwood, ignoring the document entirely. She reaches for the photos first, shots from the college campus yesterday. She flips through them one by one, every single spot I walked alone. Staring at these incredibly familiar places, something complex stirs awake inside her. Deep guilt and a soft, quiet ache of missing me. Then she spots the ink on the back of the prints. She freezes, line after line, sentence after heartbreaking sentence, detailing just how awkward and genuine my love for her used to be, how she rejected me, how I silently broke apart inside. Zara never realized any of this, never knew about the countless foolish things I did behind her back. How many tears I shed while watching all those faded memories wash up like this. A hard shell inside her quietly shatters, her eyes well up with red tears before she even realizes it. She pictures the old version of me, the guy who quietly trailed behind her back in college, eyes glowing every single time they landed on her face. The corners of her mouth twitch into a painful smile. "You idiot," she whispers, gently setting the pictures down. She grabs the camera, heart heavy with guilt and a fragile spark of hope. Maybe there are more shots of him in there, or maybe a clue. She turns it on, the screen glows. The very last file is an untitled video, recorded late last night. Her stomach drops completely, hands shaking uncontrollably. She hits play. The digital screen fills with my face looking visibly, devastatingly sick. The second Zara truly sees it, her heart contracts in pure agony. Being a doctor, she knows exactly what that pale look means. When did you get sick? She chokes out, her voice trembling wildly, but the me on the screen can't answer. I just stare into the lens and start speaking, struggling for breath. "Zara, as you can see, I have a terminal illness. My days are already counting down." I sat there, adding it all up, and you know what? Before I even noticed, loving you ended up taking over most of my life. It is pretty wild to think about now, but I still believe it was a beautiful thing. How often did I drop everything just because of my feelings for you? I gave it all, I really tried my hardest, but I never found my way in. So, I am choosing to walk away. With whatever time I have left, I am handing back your freedom. Go find Eli. That is what you truly want, and I want that for you too. Please, do not come looking for me. For my final days, I just want to live for myself. On the monitor, I am coughing hard, spitting blood, doubling over in pain, but I still force the words out. "Zara, I wish you the best in this divorce. A month ago, I signed our divorce papers, and you did too. Today marks the absolute final day of the cooling off period. Our marriage is officially over. I really hope you and Eli make it work. I know you might not care about me anymore, but I have to say this, do not try to find me. My time is running out, and in these last few days, I do not want to see you." Every single syllable acts like a razor, like 10,000 burning needles stabbing right into Zara's chest. The pain drains all the strength from her body in a flash, her breathing hitches. Her mind goes entirely blank. The divorce papers. She sees I signed them, but when? When did she ever agree? Zara's eyes snap wide. The color drains from her face. The sudden crushing weight of the truth almost breaks her in half. This is impossible. When could he have possibly signed that agreement? He did not even know I wanted a divorce. Pure panic makes her hand twitch. The camera drops hard with a loud crack. The screen shatters instantly. That sharp noise snaps her back to reality. Her eyes slowly drift over to the nightstand, landing on the paperwork she had ignored. The brown envelope looks super familiar. Shaking, she grabs it and rips it open. The front page screams at her in bold black letters, "Divorce Agreement." Frantic, she flips to the final page, right down to the signatures. My name is there, and right next to it, her own handwriting. When? How is this even possible? When did this happen? Zara is utterly stunned. Her voice cracks and breaks. Her chest feels like it was just scooped out with a knife. There is nothing left but a massive, aching void. The very first day of the cooling off period. Was that not the afternoon she took Eli to the movies? She did bump into me at the hospital then. I actually handed her a form to sign. I lied and said it was a property transfer. Every little detail she blew off comes rushing back to her mind. I made her sign it at the hospital, but I carefully covered up everything except the signature line. Director Lou asked her to run a terminal diagnosis and a voluntary asset waiver down to a patient. The guy who walked up to take those papers was me. And over those next 30 days, I looked sicker and weaker, but I just smiled and told her I was fine. Every random clue brutally stitches itself together with two simple concepts, terminal illness and divorce. The awful truth they reveal is way too much for her to handle. I should have seen this. I should have known. Zara loses her balance. She collapses onto the freezing floor, her tears spilling over like a busted dam. She feels like invisible claws are violently ripping her heart to shreds. She gasps for air. Everything makes terrible sense to her now. For a whole month, I knew I was dying. I made up that story about a property transfer to trick her into signing our divorce papers. And then I spent my final days quietly and completely wiping every single trace of my existence from her world. Rain, how could you? Why didn't you tell me? How could you do this? Zara falls apart completely, every single buried emotion detonating inside her all at once, almost eating her alive. But soon, her rational instincts kick in. The part of her that is a doctor forces her right back up. She refuses to break. She knows I am dying. Where could I possibly go alone in this kind of shape? She scrambles off the heartwood, ignores the tears on her face, grabs her keys, and sprints out the door, flooring the gas pedal straight to the hospital. Director Liu, the day I came in as a patient. Director Liu has to know all the details of my diagnosis. Zara bursts into his office without even slowing down. The heavy door smashes against the wall. A few other doctors are reviewing files inside. They instantly freeze when they see her standing there, eyes red and totally unhinged. Director Liu looks up, recognizes her face, and frowns hard. Zara, what is going on? Director Liu. Zara lunges at his desk and slams both hands down, her entire body trembling wildly. Her voice sounds completely shattered. Rain's illness. Did you know about it this whole time? His terminal diagnosis. Why did you keep it from me? Rain. Director Liu blinks twice, then puts it together. You mean Mr. Young? Yes, he is my patient. He really made an impression on me. He always showed up alone. His health was failing. What is going on? Do you know him? Zara completely loses her mind. Why did you hide this from me too? How could he be dying and nobody bothered to tell me? I am his wife. She screams that last word like it is being ripped right out of her chest. His wife. Director Liu just stares, shocked, his pen hitting the desk. He jumps to his feet, face full of disbelief. Joe, what did you just say? Rain is your husband. I thought you were single. Wasn't your boyfriend that guy who showed up to the department dinner that one night? That question hits her like a freight train. Because for 5 whole years at the hospital, in front of every single doctor and friend, she played the role of a single woman. She never once admitted to being married to me. She basically forgot it herself. The brutal irony of that fact hits her so hard right now that her knees almost give out. She stumbles back to steps and grips a chair just to stay standing. Her burning anger melts away into something much heavier, pure despair and regret. Yes, he is my husband. We have been married for 5 years. She lowers her head, and thick tears start hitting the floor fast. Her voice shrinks down to barely a whisper. I am sorry, Director Liu. I lost control just now. You and I can see Liu watching her. Between her confession and the rumors he had heard before, he pieces together most of the ugly truth. He lets out a heavy sigh, waving his hands to signal the other doctors to step out. Once they are finally alone, he chooses his words very carefully. Joe, take a breath, calm down. Rain's condition is honestly critical. He has been totally fighting the treatment, and his mental state has been incredibly dark lately. He also told me he and his wife were in the middle of a messy divorce. Liu pauses, studying Zara's pale face, deciding to swallow the harsher details. Is there maybe some sort of misunderstanding between you two? Because given where he is at right now, he should not be alone. A misunderstanding. Zara laughs bitterly, shaking her head. The tears just fall faster now. No, there is no misunderstanding here. This is all my fault. I lost him. I cannot find him. He blocked me on everything. He is just gone. Liu immediately thinks of Eli, the guy who was practically glued to Zara at that dinner. He thinks of me, coming into the clinic alone, carrying that hollow, empty stare like nothing in the universe even mattered anymore. A tragic story forms in his head. He is smart enough to keep his mouth shut. He just tries to comfort her. Do not panic yet. Think it through. You are the closest person to him. There has to be a way. Plus, with his illness, maybe in these final days, he will want to be near his family. Family? Zara's head snaps up like a light switch just flipped. Most dying patients choose to spend their last moments with their parents. But that idea barely even takes shape before a second later, a darker wave of helplessness swallows it whole. You and I know exactly why she is grieving. In 5 full years of marriage, she never bothered to get the numbers for a single one of my friends. Not my childhood address, not my parents' real names, not even their phone numbers. She never cared enough to ask, let alone memorize them. What an absolute joke of a wife she has been. What a total failure, on her own. She has 0 ways to track me down. Desperate, Zara turns back to Director Liu and begs, clinging to him like he is the very last lifeline she has left. Director Liu, please, you are his doctor. You have his emergency contact information. You have to, please. Just tell me. I need to find him. I just have to track him down. Watching Zara beg like this, Liu feels a pang of pity, but firmly shakes his head. Joe, it is not that I refuse to help you out. This is a patient's private medical record. The hospital enforces strict privacy rules. I cannot share his contact details with anyone. It goes against hospital policy and my own professional ethics. Zara knows those rules better than anyone, but she is totally out of options now. She drops straight to her knees right before him. Director Liu, I am begging you. I know the rules, but I have nothing left. He is incredibly sick. He is out there alone. If something terrible happens to him, please just help me out. Even if you just pass a message along, tell him I am desperately searching for him, please. Director Liu is caught completely off guard by this. He quickly reaches down to pull her back up onto her feet, seeing her completely broken down, thinking about how painfully fragile my own body is right now. As a senior doctor, his heart softens, he caves, get up first. Director Liu exhales heavily. Things might not be as bad as they appear. Here is what I can offer. I can try to reach out and pass your message along to him. But whether he actually replies, whether he calls you back, I cannot promise you a single thing. To Zara, those words are literally the most beautiful sound in the world. The crying stops immediately. Pure hope lights up her eyes. You and I can see her clinging to this chance. Yes, please, thank you, Director Liu, thank you. She grabs her phone right away. Choosing every single word carefully, she types out a massive text message for him to forward. It is filled with apologies, deep regrets, pathetic explanations, and totally desperate pleading. She begs me to tell her where I am hiding, begs me to just let her he comes back. Director Liu forwards the message straight to my phone, right in front of her, then begins the brutal wait. Zara heads home, eyes glued to her screen. She refreshes the app every few seconds, absolutely desperate for any response from Director Liu or from me. She waits deep into the evening. Finally, her phone lights up. It's Director Liu. Zara's pulse starts racing. Hands trembling, she taps it open. There's no text, just an image. A screenshot of the chat between Director Liu and me. The screenshot shows her massive block of text, followed by my reply. Too long, didn't read. Do not contact me again. 8 words total, 8 freezing blades that completely shred the tiny bit of hope she was clinging to. Zara feels like she just plunged into a frozen lake, numb from head to toe. Every single breath burns like solid ice. She collapses onto the couch. She sits there in silence for hours before something inside her slowly hardens. She refuses to give up just yet. Fingers still shaking, she starts typing directly into Director Liu's thread. Another massive, desperate text. Halfway through, she deletes every single word. She throws her phone across the cushions, curls into a tight ball, and totally loses her grip. Then she suddenly snaps upright, sprints into the bedroom, and digs out the cracked camera I left behind. The memory card still works. She dumps the files onto her laptop and loops the footage, watching me cough up blood, watching me slowly fade. Her heart shatters in ways she cannot even describe. Her hand drifts over the screen instinctively, like she could somehow reach through the display to touch my face, to wipe the blood away. But all she touches is the freezing glass of the monitor. She pulls her hand away. She just watches in dead silence. And then, she finally hears it. The part where I tell her, go be with Eli, that is what you want. Zara stops breathing. Her pulse explodes. When exactly had I figured it out? She always thought she hid her feelings perfectly, at least hid them from me. She really tried to keep her distance. She frantically searches through her memories, trying to land on one specific day. We were walking downstairs together and ran right into Eli. She slipped into the kitchen for tea. I was left alone with him for a few minutes. Did Eli say something to me while she was gone? But that run-in was near the very end of our mandatory separation period. Even if I learned the truth then, there is no way I could have drafted those divorce papers that quickly. Zara forces herself to look further back in time, over a month ago, the day I showed up for a checkup and bumped into her. The day I tricked her into signing that fake property transfer, but I already had the divorce agreement drawn up by then. That means my choice to walk away was finalized even earlier than that. But when Zara mentally flips through our shared life, day by day, most were just quiet and totally unremarkable, a total blur, except for one night, a month before I tricked her into signing that transfer. Eli finally finalized his divorce and Zara took it hard. She dragged him out for drinks. Both of them got completely wasted. She barely dragged him back to his place before stumbling home herself. Did she accidentally say something to me that night, let something slip while drunk, confessed her true feelings for Eli? Just the thought makes Zara's heart skip a beat. All the color drains from her face. She stays awake all night, looping years of our marriage like a broken film reel. For most of her early life, her entire world revolved around just one person, Eli. She loved him deeply. So much that when he casually mentioned wanting to be a doctor, she threw her entire life into studying just to get into medical school. But then Eli got married, and she wasn't the bride. It took her years just to barely accept that reality. She forced herself to bury the heartbreak, pretending to see him as just a childhood friend, a younger brother and nothing else. Then she met me. 5 years into our marriage, Eli's shadow was finally starting to fade, but I still hadn't taken his place. After all this time together, her feelings for me were a tangled mess, but she never felt that true spark. Never that rush. She convinced herself a healthy relationship didn't need passion, that basic routine could hold things together. She chose me as a kind of emotional bandage, a way to compensate her younger self who loved a boy she couldn't have. She wanted to give me my happy ending, hoping it would somehow heal the wound she never closed. But she was naive. Playing house when the love isn't genuine actually hurts far more than never having it at all. A marriage built purely on compensation was a ticking time bomb for both of us. Right after the wedding, seeing how completely I adored her, the hollow guilt of not loving me back crushed her. She felt a suffocating pressure she had never experienced in her life. Her gut instinct was to just bolt, so she pitched a secret marriage. Like keeping it hidden meant it hadn't fully started, giving her a way to save a piece of herself, a guaranteed escape hatch, and I said yes. I agreed without a single hesitation. Just like that, Zara drifted into our marriage completely numb, just denial and wishful thinking, blind and selfish. For the next 5 years, she never once reached out to Eli directly. Every single interaction happened through mutual friends, at parties she couldn't escape. After seeing him, whenever those messy feelings flared up, she would scribble in her journal. She never intended for anyone to read those pages. It was just her way of processing things, a ritual to release the past, a reminder to focus on the present, a reminder that someone worth keeping was right there beside her, but letting go is never that easy. After over 10 years of growing up together, caring for him had become pure instinct. Her eyes tracked him automatically, her voice naturally softened around him, whether she wanted it to or not. Even knowing it was a dead end, she genuinely wanted him happy. So when Eli hit rock bottom, she just couldn't stop herself from showing up. She stayed close, praying he would bounce back. She kept telling herself it was just what friends do. These deep, buried thoughts were things she never told a soul. She honestly thought she hid them perfectly, but she forgot. Right beside her was a man who made her his entire world. A husband who noticed every tiny mood swing, every small emotion she felt. So her little secret was never truly hidden. Every glance she thought was innocent had been a knife twisting in my gut, pushing me deeper into the dark. Until this sudden, forced divorce finally hit, until Zara stared at the signed papers and my terminal diagnosis. Way too late, she finally realized that she had never been hiding a single thing. But what destroys her now isn't the trick with the papers. It's that I hid everything from her completely. As sick as I got, I never breathed a single word until the end. And the massive lie I spun, masking our divorce as a simple property transfer. The cold finality of it all, just walking away without a word, cutting every tie, stripping away her chance to hold on. But what makes her the most angry? What really hurts the worst is herself. She hates that she's a doctor who completely missed her own husband dying. She hates being a wife who never bothered to check on my health or my heart. She despises herself for not waking up until she lost it all, for only realizing my true value when it was over. For more than 1800 days and nights sharing a life, I had become her oxygen. I seeped quietly into every single corner of her world without her even noticing. She got entirely used to my presence, my care, my patience, and even my completely unconditional love. She took every bit of it and stupidly mistook it for routine instead of romance. Only when I vanished entirely, pulling myself straight out of the air she breathed, did she finally start to suffocate. Way too late, she sees her heart had already made its choice. From the second she held our marriage certificate, from the exact moment she decided to build a life with me, I became a permanent piece of her soul. It is not that she didn't love me. That love just arrived too late. She figured it out too slowly, burying it under her own stubbornness and selfishness. Fast forward to days, Zara has burned through every option she has and still cannot reach me or find a single trace of where I went. Knowing my life is now fading like a blown-out candle, her panic spikes with every ticking hour. She is utterly terrified I will die before she ever sees my face again. That even one final goodbye is too much to ask for, Zara finally shifts all her focus onto me. Eli keeps reaching out, blowing up her phone to check on her. She blanks every message, until Eli gets so worried he literally shows up in person. He finds Zara looking completely shattered. Eyes puffed up like she has been sobbing for days, dark circles so heavy it looks like she hasn't slept in a week. Zara, what is wrong? What happened? Eli is shaken. Now, staring at Eli, Zara looks back with something heavy and tangled inside her chest. She gets it all now. It was her own constant indecision, all that back and forth, that hurt both of us so deeply. No more stalling. Everything must be laid bare, Eli. Her voice cracks, hoarse and dry. I have to be completely honest here. I did have intense feelings for you once. For a really long time, Eli freezes, totally caught off guard. But Zara takes a breath, locking eyes with him with a calm clarity she's never shown before. That was the past. Right now, in my heart, you are just my little brother. My best friend, nothing more. The reason I've been ignoring you is because she whispers my name, and her voice begins to tremble. Her eyes fill with tears. I lost him. I broke him, and now he doesn't want me anymore. Something clicks for Eli. His face goes tight. Rain, what exactly is he to you? Zara does not even blink. She fires back, word by word. He is my husband. We've been secretly married for 5 solid years. What? Eli stumbles backward, face completely full of pure shock. Married. So, when Rain talked about the wife he was divorcing, that was you? In this split second, the truth finally hits Eli. He freezes, absolutely stunned, then a massive wave of guilt and regret crash right over him. His strange gut feeling had been right all along. And without even realizing it, he had become the wedge standing between a husband and wife. He should have noticed. The way Zara acted around me, how I used to look at her. So many signs, but what he really cannot forgive himself for is sitting before me, rambling on about his history with Zara, even asking me that terrible question. He was pouring salt straight into a gaping wound he never even knew existed. Having just gone through a painful divorce himself, Eli knows exactly how that kind of betrayal feels. He cannot believe that, blindly, he helped tear my marriage apart, perhaps even serving as the final, fatal push that drove me away. Why did you hide this? Eli loses his grip, anger bleeding into deep guilt. This isn't fair to Rain. Do you realize how cruel you've been to him? I am so sorry. This is all my fault. Zara drops her head, the tears flood back instantly. She knew for a long time she was wrong, but I won't let her say it. I'm not the one you owe an apology to. Rain is. Eli's face goes totally cold, his voice harder than she has ever heard. Zara, do you know why my marriage ended? My ex-wife loved somebody else in her heart. I know exactly how that feels. What you did to Rain is a deeply painful wound, a complete betrayal. Zara cries even harder, trembling violently. I know, I should have realized much sooner. But right now I cannot reach him, he just won't see me. He refuses to let me apologize. That is absolutely not true. Eli cuts her right off, glaring sharply. You were married for 5 years. If you actually cared about him even the slightest bit, you wouldn't be completely unable to track him down. He inhales deeply, his voice completely blunt. Maybe Rain has not given up. Maybe the real problem here is you. Zara, you need to seriously think about this. During these past 5 years, did you ever genuinely treat him like your husband? Did you ever actually care about him? Or is that exactly why you know absolutely nothing about him? Zara's eyes overflow with massive regret and deep pain. She says nothing at all, she simply lets her tears fall. Watching Zara collapse into silence, all of Eli's furious anger and blame compresses into a single, exhausted sigh. Think much harder, you were his actual wife. There has to be some kind of way. Stop wasting time. Do not make Rain wait anymore. With that, Eli turns and walks away without glancing back, leaving no trace of hesitation. Zara drops to the floor, head in her hands, crying into the carpet. 3 days later, it has been exactly 5 days since I left. Zara feels like she is losing her absolute mind. She has desperately asked every single person who might know my location. My co-workers, my neighbors, she even attempted to reach my parents. Nothing. Now she has begun letting herself imagine the darkest unthinkable scenario. What if I am already gone? That terrifying thought briefly surfaces, and she shoves it aggressively back down. But the massive terror following it feels far worse. She refuses to let herself go there. What if when she finally locates me, it is completely too late? She could never forgive herself. But occasionally, when dark despair sinks deep enough, it forces out a tiny sliver of clarity. Zara consults a legal expert. Their answer suddenly opens up the very narrowest crack of desperately needed hope. The lawyer explains that yes, after the mandated cooling-off period ends, our marriage automatically dissolves. But to securely obtain our divorce certificate and legally finalize the entire process, both of us must physically appear together at the Civil Affairs Bureau. If I refused, she could slowly fall through the courts. But that takes massive time, meaning that as long as she avoided collecting the certificate, or if she somehow forced me to come back to do it alongside her, then legally, our marriage is not officially finished. She could heavily use that exact excuse to drag me back, with that thought firmly taking shape. Zara feels a surge of fresh hope refill her spirit, and she rushes straight to the hospital to track down Director Liu. Director, please, I need one final favor. Just tell Rain I agree to the divorce, but he really has to come back. We must visit the Civil Affairs Bureau together to get our certificate. Otherwise, I simply cannot move forward and start a brand new life with Eli. During these past days, Director Liu stayed in close contact with me, mostly checking my failing health, while gently relaying Zara's rapidly growing panic and deep regret. Now, hearing what Zara is desperately asking, Director Liu can barely process what he's hearing. Joe, have you seriously decided this? You are choosing Eli, just completely walking away from a husband you have shared 5 years with. And he is currently Director Liu stops himself. He doesn't even need to know. That is not it. Zara shakes her head fast, her voice hurried and incredibly desperate. Director Liu, you've totally got it wrong. I've tried everything, and I just cannot reach Rain. This is the only excuse that might bring him back. I've already told Eli the honest truth. We are just friends. The only person I have ever loved is Rain. Please, just one more time, let me see him. Let me tell him myself, face to face. Please. Director Liu watches her, looking exhausted and completely wrecked, but with a resolve he had never witnessed before. Thinking of everything she endured lately, he finally believes her. He sighs and agrees. Meanwhile, back in my hometown, I zipped up a small bag, getting ready to embark on that final farewell journey I had planned. For the past few days I stayed with my parents, trying my hardest to bring them joy. They sensed my health was failing, thanks to my vague excuses. They figured I was just completely burned out from work and desperately needed a break. They hated seeing me leave but respected my choice, begging me over and over to please take care of myself. I had just reached the train station when my phone buzzed, a text from Director Liu. Rain, Dr. Joe asked me to pass this along. She agrees to the divorce, but insists you have to come back in person. The two of you must visit the Civil Affairs Bureau together to make it official. Otherwise, she says she cannot move forward with Eli. I stared at the screen, paused, and then it clicked. She was desperate to be with Eli. That was why she needed that certificate right away. Fine. I was already heading out anyway. Going back just once to tie up loose ends and give her closure would also finally shut the door for me. I felt no pain, only the quiet relief of everything finally settling down. Still, I had absolutely no desire to see her. I made a separate call to Mr. John to double-check the details. He confirmed it all. I hung up, totally resigned. Fine. One last trip back for a clean break. I cancelled my original ticket and rebooked for the city. Strangely enough, my failing body had held out much longer than the doctors first expected. It had already been well past the single month they initially gave me. My condition even felt slightly better than during my hospital stay. I was still incredibly weak, but at least those frequent spells of coughing up blood had stopped. I wasn't sure why. Maybe signing those divorce papers finally lifted that crushing emotional weight off my chest, leaving me feeling lighter. 6 or 7 hours later, my train pulled into High City. Marcus arrived to pick me up. The second he saw me, he looked me up and down in shock. You actually look better than last time. What is going on? Please do not tell me it was a misdiagnosis. I smiled, pulled the car door open, and climbed in. Terminal illnesses don't get misdiagnosed. I've just been in much better spirits lately. Your face simply reflects what's inside your heart. So why are you back here to see her? Marcus started the engine, looking totally confused. Why not take advantage of feeling decent and go enjoy life, or travel the world? I have a few things to handle. I will leave once they are finished. I buckled my seatbelt, keeping my tone dead flat. By the way, why did she agree to the divorce so easily today? I heard she was running around searching for you like a crazy person, Marcus gossiped while driving. Because I stared out at the scenery flying past the glass, my voice perfectly calm. She is marrying Eli. She needs the divorce certificate. What? Marcus jerked the steering wheel, nearly swiping the car right next to us. His face flushed completely red with anger. That woman is still hung up on that guy. Rain, if you ask me, you should never have come back. Forget her. She doesn't deserve you making this trip. But I truly did not care anymore. I smiled. Coming back was fine. Before I finally leave, I do not want to owe her anything or have any remaining ties. A clean break just gives me peace of mind. Shortly after getting in the car, I got a text from Director Liu asking if I was back in High City and suggesting I come in for a quick checkup. I refused. She already knew everything about my ruined marriage with Zara. Without a doubt, Zara was waiting for me at that hospital. Could you please pass a message to Zara for me? Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Let's make this quick. I don't have much time left. I didn't know it then, but Zara was standing right by Director Liu's side. In that exact moment, all of her anticipation and joy came crashing down. The crushing disappointment nearly suffocated her right there, but Director Liu had already done so much to help her. Zara refused to lose heart. She immediately texted back, "See you tomorrow." Then she rushed home. She hadn't been idle during my absence. She went through every single detail of our 5 years of marriage, relying heavily on memory and old photos I once took. She scoured the internet for identical items, buying back every single thing I had sold or removed, every matching mug, every piece of furniture and decoration, desperately restoring our old apartment to look exactly the way it did when I still lived there. She even prepared some sad surprises for me at home, handwritten letters of apology, clumsily cooked homemade meals. She even took an extended leave from the hospital, planning to stay fiercely by my side every single second during my final days to take care of me. The next day, I waited right on time at the Civil Affairs Bureau, but Zara arrived late, and her hands were completely empty. She hadn't brought a single document. In that moment, I knew she wasn't here to sign. You told me to come here to get the divorce certificate, and you show up empty-handed. My tone was filled with deep impatience, cold as ice, just like the awful way she used to treat me. You know I do not have much time to waste. The bitter coldness in my words, it hit Zara like a physical slap. She shuddered. She never expected the first words out of my mouth would be about our divorce or wasting more time. Looking at my condition, I'm still thin and pale, obviously a sick man at first glance. But compared to that deathly, ashen face she saw in the video I left behind, I look a lot better now. Zara's heart is a total mess. Could ending this marriage actually be the best medicine for a terminal patient like me? Rain, have you been all right these past few days? She asks, watching me carefully. As you can see, I tug at the corner of my lips, forcing a cold smile. I've been much more comfortable since the divorce. My words crash down like a boulder onto Zara's chest. Every single thing she prepared to say over the last few days gets completely stuck in her throat. She can't get a word out. She desperately wants to rush forward, hold me, admit she was wrong, tell me she loves me, and beg me not to leave. But even though we're standing face to face, the distance between our hearts feels like an uncrossable chasm. I forgot to bring our ID documents. ID, Zara asks. Her voice is barely a whisper, carrying a faint, almost undetectable tremor. Can you come home with me to get them, please? Zara, we aren't children. I frown, a hint of sarcasm lacing my voice. That excuse is pathetic. What are you really up to? Just say it. I don't have time for games. Seeing just how cold and distant I am, Zara's heart aches unbearably. She feels like she's lost every single card in her hand. She has absolutely no choice but to drop all her carefully prepared surprises and just speak in the most clumsy, yet honest way she can. No, it isn't an excuse. I really couldn't find them. All these years, you were the one who organized everything at home. I have no idea where you put them. Can you come back and help me look, please? This one actually isn't entirely a lie. Over the years, I truly did handle every single little thing around our house. She doesn't even know how to pay the utility bills. Looking at her bloodshot eyes and that desperate, pleading expression, I soften just the tiniest bit. Fine, consider this the very last time I ever help her. Let's go. I turn to hail a cab. Zara hurries after me. I drove. Take my car. I glance at her and don't object. The atmosphere inside the car is suffocating. Zara can't stand this deadly silence. She takes a deep breath and finally breaks it herself. Rain, have you been going to the hospital for your checkups on time? Have you been taking your medication? She asks, completely unable to hide the heavy whirring in her voice. None of your concern, my dear ex-wife. I refuse to look at her, keeping my gaze fixed on the flashing scenery. Her deep disappointment and pain are practically spilling over. Rain, her fingers tighten hard around the steering wheel, her voice shaking. I consulted a lawyer. After the 30-day cooling-off period ends, our marriage is automatically dissolved. But to actually get the official divorce certificate and complete the legal process, both of us need to be present. If I don't show up, or if you can't find me, the divorce won't be finalized. She pauses, watching my reaction closely through the rearview mirror, then continues. I could choose not to go. I raise an eyebrow in total surprise, turning to look right at her. Zara, there's no point in us going back and forth like this. You have Eli now. I just want to live for myself with whatever time I have left. We aren't on the same path anymore. My tone is calm, even carrying a tired sense of relief. As for marital assets, I signed the voluntary asset waiver. It's all yours. What more could you possibly want? Why won't you let me go? It's not about any of that. Zara shakes her head fiercely, her eyes growing red once again. She deliberately slows the car down, her intense gaze falling on me now and then, full of pure struggle and pain. I'm not trying to cling to you, I just can't accept it. Her voice chokes up. I can't accept that you refuse to give me a single chance to explain. I can't accept that you won't let me show you how I truly feel. I can't accept that you just disappeared without giving me a real chance to fight for us. 3 times she says she can't accept it. It sounds like a harsh accusation, yet also like a desperate, humble plea for one more chance. But I won't be shaken by those words anymore. Save those words for Eli. That one sentence shuts Zara down completely. She's entirely speechless, unable to understand how I've become so heartless. The old me used to value her way more than my own life. Rain, do you still not understand what I'm saying? Her voice pitches higher with pure desperation. I don't want a divorce. I want to keep you. I want us to start over. Can we get back together? Please, start over. What an absolute joke. One breezy sentence from her and she thinks it can magically erase 5 years of my devoted love, 5 years of agony that nearly cost me my life. But I still don't understand. Eli is single again, and she and I are about to be completely finished. Isn't this the very moment she's always dreamed of? Why would she turn around and beg to get back together with me now? My cold silence sends Zara into a total panic. Don't go silent on me. Are you still thinking about Eli? Zara's eyes turn red, her frantic voice rain. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. I never should have hurt you again and again over someone from my past. I hope you can forgive me. Give me a chance to make it up to you, please. Hold on. Since when does she apologize? This isn't the Zara I remember. When was she ever this humble? That apology I waited 5 long years and never once heard it. Now that our marriage is over, what is the point? I let out a weak laugh, a smile dripping with pure exhaustion. I'll forgive you after we officially sign the divorce papers. Hearing this, Zara opens her mouth to speak, but once again, no sound comes out. It's as if every ounce of strength drains from her body. She looks as lost as a kid who can't find her way home. Rain, does it really have to be divorce? Her voice is a tiny whisper, laced with quiet pleading. I really don't want this. You don't have to do this. I sigh, my tone softening slightly, yet staying firm. 5 years together, all I want is a decent ending for us both. I'm setting you free to enjoy your blue skies with Eli, and you can let me have whatever peace I have left. Right now, I just have one single thought. Finish the divorce paperwork, cut all ties, and walk away. My time is running out. There is so much I want to experience on my own. I don't have time to sit here listening to Zara make hollow confessions. No, her voice suddenly spikes up, breaking into an ugly sob. Rain, I lied to you. I'm not marrying Eli. I told him everything. I did have feelings for him before, but once he got married, I only saw him as a younger brother. You are the one. You have already found your way into my heart. Please, just stop leaving me. She finally takes her opening and pours out everything weighing on her chest, but I'm not buying it. My relationship with Zara is a long, painful blur, a cold, damp nightmare. I finally clawed my way out of the dark. I'm covered in scars, and she thinks cheap words can drag me back. That's never going to happen. Zara, I turn my head, staring dead into her eyes. My voice is calm, yet cold. You have zero credibility left with me? A simple sentence, but for her, it's a brutal blow. I used to blindly believe every single word she said without question. Every look, every promise, and now she's the very person who destroyed all of that trust with her own 2 hands. She ground down every last ounce of hope I ever had for her. Her heart twists in pure agony, but deep down, she fully expected my rejection. Still, she refuses to give up. Taking a deep breath, she speaks again, her voice burning with an all-or-nothing resolve. Rain, I know I broke your heart, but can you please give me one chance to slowly piece it back together? I'll prove my love through actions. I truly love you. With the divorce looming, I just look away, completely impatient. Prove it however you want, to whoever you want. I won't stop you. Just drive faster. I'm exhausted. She stares at me unmoved and stone cold, and her heart turns to pure ice. But she doesn't dare say another word, terrified of angering me and losing this final chance to share a car ride. The rest of the drive passes in dead silence. Her car finally parks inside our old apartment's underground garage. I don't give her a chance to speak. I push the door open and step out. Zara sits frozen in the driver's seat, her chest tight with heavy emotion. In the end, she just lets out a tired sigh and follows behind me. We step off the elevator, reaching the front door. She suddenly looks visibly nervous. Her fingers tremble slightly as she turns the lock. Rain. She steps to the side, her voice carrying a faint, desperate mix of anticipation and anxiety. Welcome home. The scene waiting inside stops me dead in my tracks. I had moved all my things out, but now the living room looks exactly like it did before the separation. The throw pillow I always leaned against is back on the sofa. My mug sits on the coffee table. There's even a lopsided cream cake sitting in the center of the dining table, surrounded by a few plates of homemade food that really don't look that great. I prepared all of this just for you. Her eyes are full of desperate hope and caution. Rain, please don't leave me, okay? I stand in the doorway, refusing to step inside right away. I scan these deliberate recreations and her clumsy, desperate surprises. There's zero warmth in my chest, just a profound sense of exhaustion and sheer absurdity. Put it away. I speak, my voice completely flat. We're here to get the legal documents. This isn't appropriate. I walk inside, swap into slippers, and ask in a hollow tone, where did you get all of this? I know for a fact my real belongings are at my parents' place. Everything sitting in this room can only be a cheap replica. Rain, Zara clearly didn't expect this cold reaction. Since we met, every word out of my mouth has been about the divorce. She finally sees reality. 5 years of harsh neglect and pain have completely destroyed the man whose eyes once held absolutely nothing but her. That version of me is gone, replaced by a hollow shell locking every door to my heart shut tight. She goes quiet for a second, then answers softly. I found all of them online, matching the old photos you used to take and your past purchase history. I tracked them down one by one. It wasn't that hard. I took an extended leave. I had plenty of time. Her voice drops lower and lower, choking on thick tears. Because this is the only way I can build an illusion for myself, a fantasy where you never left. It's the only way my heart can cling to that tiny sliver of hope. Hoping that maybe one day you will walk right through that door again, just like before. Rain, I have no idea how to survive without you. Hearing this, I actually feel moved. Not out of lingering tenderness, but out of sheer pity for the old me and for the current her. If this was 5 years ago, or even 1 year ago, seeing Zara do all this would have made me absolutely ecstatic. I would have felt like every single thing I sacrificed was totally worth it, that the clouds had finally parted. But now, I have just barely freed myself from this hopeless one-sided romance. I am no longer willing to waste a single second of emotion or energy on her. I offer a soft hum, my tone staying completely flat. Keep them if you want. You can toss them out slowly later. Once the divorce is final, you will get used to it. I walk straight to the bedroom to grab the ID papers we need for the divorce. I know exactly where they are, tucked inside a small locked drawer. Zara stands totally frozen at the doorway. She watches my back as I walk toward the bedroom without a single moment of hesitation. The sharp pain in her chest makes it nearly impossible for her to breathe. She slowly realizes that maybe this is who I truly am. Not the guy she saw all those years, always accommodating, endlessly patient, forever gentle. The harsh truth is, during those 5 years, all my patience, all my kindness, all my tenderness and careful attention, it was only because I loved her. Because of love, I was willing to put myself last. To swallow every ounce of pain, hide my sharp edges, and show her only my warmest side. But what about her? She was far too thoughtless, too selfish, too quick to take it all for granted. And now, it is way too late. Only after losing me completely does she understand. The Rain who was always patient with her, always gentle, he is never coming back. Zara crouches by the door, hot tears streaming down her face. She clamps a hand over her mouth, forcing herself to stay completely silent, because all of this is her own doing. Because Zara restored the room to its original state. The documents are not hard to find. I pull them out of the drawer quickly. As soon as I step out of the bedroom, I spot Zara slumped against the doorframe. Her shoulders are trembling slightly. Her eyes and nose are tipped red. She has obviously just been crying. I frown. What kind of trick is this now? She tried begging and apologizing. Now, she is playing the pity card. I walk over, my tone carrying a heavy hint of skepticism. Are you feeling unwell? If she dares fake an illness just to stall, I will turn around and leave immediately. No, Zara quickly wipes her face with the back of her hand, forces herself to stand up, and manages a smile that looks worse than crying. Let's go. Down the stairs and into the car. This time, not a single word the whole drive. Zara does not say anything more. She just drives in total silence, eyes fixed straight ahead. The car finally stops at the Civil Affairs Bureau once again. Let's hurry. I check the time. They are about to close. Time really is running short. I am worried that if we miss closing time, it means another whole day wasted. So, I grab Zara's hand without thinking and walk briskly toward the bureau building. The sudden warmth from my palm sends a jolt right through Zara. Years ago, we came here for our marriage certificate, and I was in just as much of a rush. Back then, I was terrified she might change her mind, afraid she'd back out at the very last second. So, the whole way I held her hand tightly, walking fast, my face glowing with barely contained excitement and pure joy. That energy, without her even realizing it at the time, seemed to chase away the uncertainty and fear she felt about our marriage. Only now does Zara understand that from that very exact moment, I had already started finding my way deep into her heart. But now, same place, same people, same hand pulling her forward in a hurry. Yet absolutely everything has changed. Zara's eyes go completely dim. Like a lifeless puppet, she lets me drag her through the motions. Photos, forms, signatures, fingerprints. When that booklet stamped with the words divorce certificate is finally placed right into our hands, I let out a visible exhale of total relief. My shoulders, tense for so long, finally drop down. Even my colorless face shows a trace of genuine ease. Finally, I murmur softly to myself. I turn the fresh divorce certificate over and over in my hands, the corner of my mouth unconsciously curving into the faintest little arc. I am truly free, Rain. Zara stares at the blinding red booklet in my hand, then at the totally undisguised expression on my face. Her heart feels like a massive chunk has been carved right out of it. The sudden pain nearly takes her off her feet. But right amid all that heartbreak and heavy despair, a thought sprouts in her mind like wildfire. Since I completely refused to stay in our old marriage with her, then fine, the marriage can end. But the end of a marriage does not mean the end of our story. We can have brand new identities, a fresh beginning. A sudden fierce resolve takes hold of her, almost as if something has clicked into place. Her eyes refocus, locking straight onto me. Rain, she calls out just as I am about to turn around and leave. Maybe it is because we finally cut things clean. My mood is actually decent. This is the first time since the divorce, I answer her calmly. Zara pulls in a breath, locking onto my eyes. Every single syllable drops with absolute resolve. Let's start over. Wait, what? I must have heard her wrong. I just stare at her, completely stunned. Are you actually serious, Zara? After the absolute hell I went through, jumping through to finalize our divorce, to completely escape this marriage, you turn around and tell me we should start over. Watching my shock, Zara just doubles down. She has never looked more dangerously focused. What I'm saying is, she steps closer, dropping any hint of a joke. The marriage is done, but we are still old classmates, right? The papers are signed. We might not be married anymore, but surely we can just be friends. Friends, I scowl, rejecting it instantly. No thanks. Staring into Zara's weirdly intense eyes, I just can't shake the gut feeling that she's plotting. I know her. This is definitely not the face of an ex-wife who has moved on, who ends a marriage over cheating and just stays buddies. But I definitely did not expect Zara to bring an actual counterattack. Rain, now you're the one being totally unreasonable. She tilts her chin up, her tone dripping with fake hurt. You demanded a divorce. Sure, I dragged my feet, but didn't I sign the papers and let you go in the end? You can't just burn the bridge. Did you forget what you promised in the car? What the hell did I even say? Annoyance flares up. You promised. Zara locks eyes with mine, spitting my own words back. If you sign the divorce papers, you can prove whatever you want to whoever you want. You swore that once the split was legal, you would forgive me. Did you say that or not? Seeing her face full of pure victory, my jaw tightens. Yeah, I said that. But back then, I only threw those lines out to get her off my back and force the divorce through fast. I never dreamed she would actually weaponize those exact promises after we split. Yeah, I said it. I rub my temples, a massive headache brewing. I can forgive you, but I seriously need to leave right now. You want to prove yourself? We will talk next time. Next time. She snatches my wrist, glaring at me like a hawk. Do not run. How do I know when you will show up again? What if you vanish again? The proof happens today. Right now, her voice leaves zero room for debate. Give me a break. I yank my arm, sighing. Who tries to prove anything to an ex-husband? Go prove it to that guy Eli. I am only saying this once. Zara's face goes stone cold, her fingers digging into my arm. He is just like a little brother to me. I only care about proving myself to the guy I actually care about. Call yourself the ex, call yourself a college buddy, but you cannot pretend we don't have history. I like you. I want to show you exactly how I feel. Is that a crime, Rain? You made a promise. You are not a liar, are you? She searches my eyes, pushing every boundary, betting everything on my next move. I will not break my promise. Honestly, I have zero energy left to fight, so I just mutter. Proving yourself is entirely your own business, but whether I care is totally up to me. I seriously need to leave. Maybe it is because we are finally legally divorced. Zero strings attached, but I actually do not feel that same burning hostility toward her that I felt in the car. My voice drops a notch. Zara catches that tiny opening like a hawk, a spark hitting her eyes. She drops her guard a little, slipping right into this soft, coaxing tone. Fine, you want to go. I will let you go. She finally drops my wrist, but stays planted right in my way. But I need your new number. That is hardly asking for the moon, right? If you walk away and ghost me again, how am I supposed to track you down to show you I changed? Just give me one guaranteed way to call you, and I might step aside. Zara's deadpan stare says she means it, knowing how stubborn she gets. If I refuse the number, she will happily keep me trapped here all night. And honestly, my battery is dead. I just want out, trapped. I finally cave. All right, I will give you the contact. I drag out my phone, dropping a heavy warning, but you swear you will not spam me. If you cross lines or get weird, you earn an instant block and delete. We keep this strictly at an old classmate level. Got it? Deal. Totally fine. Zara agrees way too fast. She yanks her phone out, staring at me with eager eyes. That instant yes triggers a massive red flag. I know she is plotting something, but since I already made the deal, I have to hand over the number. The second our screens ping, I spin around, absolutely not wanting to linger one more second. But she just trails right behind me, buzzing away, firing off no ground rules. Rain, I swear I won't annoy you, but you need to promise something. No stealth blocking, no random deleting, and no ignoring my texts. When I hit you up, you have to text back. You cannot leave me on read and ghost me again. Wait, are these demands meant for an old classmate or a boyfriend? When I chased her, I never dared to ask for half this much. Now she is the one demanding things from me. Head spinning, I quickly flag down a taxi, yank the door open, and dive inside. I hand the driver Marcus's address. Step on it, please. As the car pulls away, I spot Zara in the rearview mirror. She is still standing right there, waving at me. She doesn't look completely thrilled, but her eyes are shining bright, just overflowing with confidence. After 5 years of marriage, I know her far too well. She refuses to be just some former classmate. She has clearly embraced a brand new identity to start chasing me all over again. If this was the old days, I might have completely melted, thinking all my struggles had finally paid off. But right now, my heart is totally dead. It will never beat for her again. As for her chasing me, whatever. I am dying soon anyway, and I am leaving this city for good. The divorce is final, the assets are gone. It will not hurt her future. This exact ending works just fine for me. I lean back in the cab and close my exhausted eyes. Over at Marcus's apartment, we catch up for a bit. I want to celebrate flying solo again, but he completely refuses to let me go wild. Instead, he insists on hauling me to the hospital for a checkup. Look man, I know my own body, forget it. But Marcus is stubborn. Getting unhitched is a massive deal. Maybe this good karma turns your luck around. What if you magically get better? You are going. I am coming right with you. I cannot beat him. And I hate raising suspicion, so I let him drag me all the way down to the hospital. To keep me from sneaking off, Marcus even ditches work, swearing he will guard me until every last test is finished. You seriously do not need to babysit me. I drop onto a hallway bench, just watching sick patients shuffle by. I am already here. Am I going to bolt? Marcus shoots me a look that practically screams, yeah right. But soon, his cell rings, the office, a massive system crash hit his tech department, and he is the only guy who can patch it. His boss demands he return immediately. Marcus grips his phone, totally torn between me and the glowing screen, entirely caught in a bind. I seize my chance. Look, work comes first. Go, I am not bolting. I will wait here for my tests. I'll call you when they finish. Marcus hesitates, but between my constant promises and his boss completely blowing up his phone, he finally caves in. He watches me step into Director Liu's office and pull the door shut, before reluctantly leaving, glancing back every couple steps. With that door closed, it is just me and Director Liu. I walk over and sit down directly across from him. I wasn't lying to Marcus. Even if he hadn't dragged me here, I fully planned to visit Director Liu before leaving town. If he hadn't been monitoring me this past month and tweaking my daily meds, I honestly might not have survived the 30-day divorce cooling-off period. Director Liu smiles. Rain, you made it. He looks genuinely surprised to see me, scanning me closely. You look better than last time, less burdened, much more relaxed. I smile back. I am catching the night train out. I mainly came to say thanks for taking such great care of me. A follow-up checkup hardly matters at this stage. Compared to the utter chaos and pain of last month, I feel remarkably at peace. Now Director Liu looks at me with eyes full of heavy regret. I heard about you and Zara, he sighs. If a divorce brings you true peace, then maybe it really is beneficial for your health. It is just that Zara is one of my proudest students. I have witnessed her recent changes and her suffering. Obviously, I possess no right to tell you what to do, but is this really the bitter end for you too? Absolutely no chance. Director Liu flips through my old medical records while chatting casually. He rarely meddles in his students' personal affairs, but he just cannot help feeling that we were too precious to throw away. If only he knew sooner. Right, well, on this specific topic, I do not fight back much. My tone stays calm. Who knows? Before tomorrow even gets here, anything is possible. But one thing will never change. We are divorced. Whether we go our separate ways or stick around as friends, it really does not matter. I lack the time to worrying about it. My calm answer lets him see I am not as stubborn as Zara previously described. Maybe things haven't hit a complete dead end yet, but as my doctor, his very first duty is still to remind me, Rain, stop fixating on how much time you actually have left. Nobody can know for sure, not even me. Just live well, keep your spirits high. That always helps. If anyone or anything is making you miserable, just step away for now. Your current condition is much more stable than it was just a month ago. That is a solid win. I thank Director Liu sincerely, exchange a few parting words, then stand up to leave. He rises to walk me out himself, his eyes holding a trace of sadness, but mostly a genuine wish for my well-being. Go on, stay safe, and keep in touch. He warmly pats my shoulder. As we finally reach the doorway, he pulls the door wide open and looks up. Zara is standing right there, dead silent, like she's been waiting a while. Her eyes bypass Director Liu entirely, looking straight onto mine. When did you get here? Director Liu jumps back, grabbing his chest. Good Lord, my poor heart. Honestly, seeing Zara shakes me up too. How did she know? Wasn't she off today? Why is she here? I need to bounce. Director Liu, no need to see me out. I got this. Take care of yourself. I wave goodbye and head for the exit. Right at the doorway, Zara and I brush shoulders, sharing a quick glance. No words. This time, she doesn't block my path. She just quietly steps aside. I bolt out of there, marching straight to the elevator. But outside the hospital doors, I glance back. Zara is right there, trailing a bit behind me, silently shadowing my every step. Why are you following me? I finally halt, spinning around to face her. Zara speeds up and stops right in front of me. Face completely blank, voice dead calm. Nothing. I really just wanted to experience what you felt back then. What feeling, you know. She tilts her head, like she is digging into old memories. When someone takes over your entire mind, you just follow them blindly. Honestly, even just staring at their back is enough. That hits me out of nowhere. I honestly have no idea what to say. Back in college, Zara steps up beside me, her tone dropping low. I remember how after late study sessions, you would magically appear near the classroom, then trail me all the way to the dorms. At first, I thought some total creep was stalking me. I almost called campus security on you. The edge of her mouth curls into a nostalgic little smile. Eventually, I realized you just wanted to look at me and make sure I got home safe. The memories she and I share are way too massive to count. She pulls them up one by one. Her voice has zero of that old freezing edge. Now, there is a warmth that arrived way too late, a tenderness mixed with regret. Those little flashbacks spin like broken movie reels through my brain, frame by frame. I really hate to admit it, but something shifts inside me, ripples on a dead lake. Zara keeps running down the list of how I took care of her. She remembers how I tracked her cycle and would quietly make her brown sugar ginger tea, how I knew her stomach was a wreck and grabbed light meals ahead of time. She once casually dropped a book title, and by our next hangout, I had it waiting for her. All those little things I figured she totally ignored, she remembered every single one. But hearing it now, these shared memories carry this tragic, overdue sweetness. To my ears, it all just sounds like a brutal history that is too painful to revisit. Okay, that is enough. Seriously, stop. What is your actual point here? Just spit it out. I cut her off completely. I have to go. Zara freezes, locking eyes with me, looking dead serious. Where to? Let me drive you. Are you going to tell me or what? Because I will just hail a cab. I seriously cannot deal with her right now. My point is, I just want to drive you. Zara glares at me, totally stubborn. We are old college friends who randomly ran into each other outside a hospital. Offering a ride is completely normal, right? You literally swore to me yesterday you wouldn't shut me out like this. How can you break that promise? Then she dives right back into how caring and dependable I used to be. How perfect I was. Her endless rambling is driving me crazy. I just want out. I cave. Fine, I agree. Go get your car, okay. Zara's eyes instantly spark up. Do not even think about running. Wait right there, old classmate. After forcing me to swear I wouldn't ditch her, she finally jogs over toward the parking garage. Not running. Yeah, right. I watch her vanish down the block, then immediately march to the curb to flag a taxi. But bizarrely, this hospital entrance is normally an absolute zoo, and there is not one empty cab in sight. I wait and wait. Nothing. Zara's car is definitely about to pull up. I tuck my chin and speed walk down the sidewalk, hoping to hit the next intersection to grab a ride. Rain, I knew you would try to bail. I barely make it 10 feet before a familiar horn blares. I spin around. Zara has her window down, creeping slowly next to me. She looks ridiculously smug, mixed with just a tiny flash of wounded pride. Get in the car, old classmate. She hits the brakes. I glare at her, let out a massive sigh, and slide in. Where to? She asks. Anywhere, I snap, completely annoyed. But Zara acts like I just proposed, her eyes wrinkling into a huge smile. Rain, does that actually mean you want to hang out longer? I am completely stunned. I just turn and stare out the glass. How did I never realize she was this good at twisting my words? How totally impossible she is to lose. Take me to Marcus's place. I rattle off the address, then shoot her a look. Not another word. Give me silence or I am walking out right now. The threat sticks. Zara zips her lip, driving in total silence. Except she is crawling, obviously dragging this trip out on purpose, just to trap me here longer. I don't even argue. I don't care. We'd get there eventually, just like our broken marriage. No matter how hard you cling, the day always comes when two people finally part ways forever. Somewhere along the drive, I shut my eyes, drifting off to sleep. And then, breaking the silence, Zara suddenly speaks. Her tone is quiet, but strangely sharp and serious. Rain, your illness, Dr. Liu and I have been researching your diagnosis together, reviewing it constantly. We both agree your health situation is nowhere near as hopeless as you think, given your current stage. If you commit to medical treatment and change your outlook, controlling the disease and extending your life, even a full recovery is possible. Zara's voice carries a heavy sincerity I've never heard from her before. Over the past few weeks, my terminal diagnosis became an absolute obsession for her. She's been digging through medical journals day and night, consulting Dr. Liu on various treatment options. For any medical professional, Nothing is scarier than facing the sickness of someone you deeply love and feeling totally powerless. Zara refuses to be that helpless. She was blind before, but now she sees. She absolutely refuses to watch me give up. How could she just let me throw my life away? She still wants to spend whatever time is left with me. So, that's the real reason she insisted on driving today. But I never once believed I could actually survive this. From the second I received my terminal diagnosis, every single move I made was about letting go, cutting ties, settling my affairs, and protecting my parents. It is unnecessary. I stare out the car window, keeping my voice dead steady. The time I have left should let me visit a few places I've always wanted to see. It's not. Nowhere close. The second Zara realizes I am still refusing care, panic sets in, her voice rising. This country is massive. There are so many places you want to visit. You need a long, long time to see it all. 1 year, 3 years, 5, 10, and beyond China. There is the whole wide world. So much beauty left. I'll be right there beside you for all of it. Rain, I cannot lose you. You can't just be this reckless with your life. Every single word tumbles out faster than the last, choking with desperation that sounds like begging. I get what she means, but my heart feels like a well that dried up years ago. Nothing stirs at all. We're divorced. I turn toward her reddened eyes, my tone staying completely flat. I have zero obligation to you anymore. That doesn't matter. You have to undergo treatment. Zara nearly shouts, then immediately catches herself, scrambling to soften her tone, though her voice still breaks. If not as my husband, then as my old classmate, as a friend. What kind of obligation does an old classmate really have? I snap back, the obligation to just stay alive. Zara grabs my arm, her fingers shaking against my sleeve. Rain, look, even if you never get back together with me, even if you never talk to me again, I just need you to live. Please, promise me you will accept treatment. Trust me. We can fight this. Dr. Lu says there is still a chance. We haven't hit the end of the road yet, please. She grows increasingly frantic with every single word, voice breaking, tears sliding down her cheeks. I honestly never expected this kind of fierce reaction out of her. Maybe it's just the instinct of a doctor, hating to watch a patient give up. I push it aside. The car finally stops outside Marcus's apartment building right on time. I am here. I shove the passenger door open to step out. Rain, Zara calls from behind me, her voice hoarse and cracked. I am sorry, I just got carried away. I shouldn't have pressured you like that, but you really do still have a real fighting chance. Please, just think about it again, all right? Oh, and also, she wipes her eyes like she suddenly remembered something. Eli asked for your contact info. He wants to talk. Would you be okay with that? Listening to Zara's incredibly careful, fragile voice, staring into her red-rimmed eyes, how could I not recognize that exact feeling, that tiny, deeply humiliated shred of hope? Because for the past 5 years, that is exactly how I felt every single day. Maybe it's because a dying man speaks his truth, or maybe because I've finally let go of it all, and I simply don't have that bitter hardness left inside me anymore. Or maybe it is just because Eli never actually did anything wrong to me. I stay quiet for a second, then offer a slow nod. Sure, walking back into Marcus's place, he still isn't home. I've barely dropped my bags on the floor when my phone buzzes, a new friend request from Eli. His direct message reads, Rain, it is Eli. There are a few things I'd like to say. Would you be open to talking? Seeing his name pop up, my emotions get instantly complicated. I genuinely do not hate Eli. If anything, I feel a strange kinship with the guy. Kindred spirits sharing the exact same pain, but I have no clue what he wants to say now. With a feeling I cannot even describe, I tap accept anyway. The second I do, his next message pops up instantly. He is direct, as always. Rain, are you free later this afternoon? I'd like to meet up and talk for a bit. He still cuts right to the chase. My thumbs hover over the glowing screen, totally unsure how to reply. When it comes to Eli, my feelings have always been a tangled mess. In front of him, I feel like a total loser. I never once won a place in Zara's heart. I used to envy him. I even quietly hated him. I hated how he didn't even have to try to completely own every piece of Zara's heart. But after we last hung out, and he poured his heart out. I realized he wasn't the manipulative guy I had pictured. Actually, it's quite the opposite. I actually think we click pretty well. Every issue between us, all the friction and the fighting, all just comes back to Zara. He is her childhood sweetheart, the one that got away, living right in the deepest part of her heart. I was Zara's legal husband, yet the one guy who never even made it inside. Now that Zara and I are officially divorced, I should just cut ties with Eli and stay far away from anyone in her world. But for some weird reason I can't explain, a part of me really wants to see him. I need to hear what he has to say. And since I'm catching the overnight train, my afternoon is totally free. After a few seconds of thinking it over, I reply, "Sure, you pick the time and place." Eli immediately texts back the details. Later that afternoon, I pull up to the restaurant he picked out. A quiet, really classy private dining spot, super calm and relaxed. Eli is already waiting, sitting right by the window. When he notices me, he stands right up, flashing a smile heavy with guilt. "Rain, over here." It's been a while since we last crossed paths, and Eli looks different. That confident, upbeat energy he used to have is totally gone. What took its place is just this quiet, heavy steadiness. We grab our seats, order, and the whole vibe turns pretty awkward. We aren't exactly close, and we definitely don't share much common ground. Eli finally breaks the silence. Both of his hands are gripping his glass, knuckles turning white, his face completely serious, almost grim. "Rain, I only asked you to meet for one reason, to apologize to you face to face." "Apologize?" That catches me totally off guard. For what? Eli drops his head, his voice dropping low. "For the idiotic things I did and said without knowing the whole story. I swear I had no clue you and Zara were actually married. If I knew, I never would have brought up our history right in front of you, and I never would have asked that question." He looks back up, his eyes packed with real remorse. "I know that just by showing up, by saying what I said, I hurt you. I might have even helped drive you away. I am so incredibly sorry. So, that is what this is all about." The mental wall I have been keeping up quietly crumbles. Honestly, I feel a wave of pure relief. There was absolutely nothing wrong with anything you said. I didn't take it personally at all. You don't need to beat yourself up. My voice stays totally calm. My leaving was slightly connected to you, sure, but claiming you drove me out is a massive stretch. Bringing this entire mess back up, I don't feel a drop of jealousy or hate anymore, just the flat, quiet clarity of a guy who has accepted his fate. I walked away mainly over the deep cracks between Zara and me. My feelings just dried up. I couldn't wait around anymore. That is strictly between her and me. It really has zero to do with you. Seeing me lay it out like that, the guilt in Eli's eyes only deepens. But Zara acted that way because I was there. No matter how you spin it, I played a role in your marriage ending. I am not innocent in this. Rain, he locks eyes with me, looking dead serious. Honestly, after we talked the other day, I genuinely started to see you as a guy I could actually trust as a close friend. Even though it is probably way too late now, I still really hope you can just give Zara another shot. Is there any universe where you two get back together? His question genuinely floored me. I pictured so many people pushing me to make up with Zara, my parents, friends, even director Lou. But I never once expected it to be Eli logically. Zara being single again is his golden ticket, and yet here, he is doing exactly this. I just can't wrap my head around what Eli is playing at. I have to ask, I don't get it. Didn't you confess your feelings for Zara that day? She is single now. Why aren't you chasing after her? Why are you sitting here telling me to go back? No, that wasn't love. Eli answers before I even finish the question, shaking his head fast. His eyes aren't defensive at all, just showing a clean, naked honesty. Rain, look, Zara and I grew up together deep down. She has always been way more like a big sister to me, my absolute best friend. That has never shifted, not once in all this time. Even after my divorce, when I was hitting rock bottom, she was there for me. And even then, I never felt a single romantic spark for her. As for why I asked you that question that afternoon, he flashes a bitter smile. I think it is because my own marriage had just crashed and burned at my lowest, most broken point. Zara dropped everything just to keep me company, to comfort me, to give me the exact support and warmth I desperately needed. I totally confused that deep dependence and gratitude for something else. It was not until after you walked out, when I couldn't reach Zara at all, that I drove to her place and found her completely shattered, sobbing and telling me she had lost you forever. That is the exact moment I finally understood the truth. I finally saw the brutal damage I had accidentally done to your marriage. Eli pulls in a deep breath, his tone dropping hard. Rain, there is something I have never told you. My ex-wife also had another guy living inside her heart the entire time. Our situations are basically identical. That is which is why I can't stomach the idea of wrecking someone else's marriage. I refuse to be the villain in this story. I couldn't live with that guilt. So, Zara and I sat down, and we talked everything out, completely and honestly. That honest talk finally made me understand my own heart. What I actually feel for Zara has never been true love. It was just a deep trust and closeness, like best friends, and Zara feels exactly the same way. She let all that go ages ago. Ultimately, Zara and I are just like us. We'll always be close friends, but there will never be anything more. Eli stares at me, his gaze clear and totally sincere. Rain, you have to believe that the only person in Zara's heart has been you for a very long time. She just woke up way too late. His words hit me one by one, like heavy stones dropping into still water. They ripple through my chest with emotions too tangled to name. So, behind the painful story I thought I knew, a completely different truth was hiding there all along. Yet, no matter how genuine he sounds, and regardless of whether Zara's feelings for Eli were truly just a sibling bond, it doesn't shake my resolve. In any relationship, there is no absolute right or wrong. Only the person living it truly knows the depth of the pain. Even if Zara truly felt zero romantic spark for Eli, what about her feelings toward me? Throughout those 5 years, did she ever offer even the tiniest clue that she loved me back? If she did, how did I miss it entirely, not even feeling it once? So, sitting here faced with Eli's eager, hopeful gaze, I just stay completely silent. A heavy pause stretches out before I finally speak up. Eli, I get how you feel, but I cannot give you the answer you are hoping for. Zara and I were married for 5 years. I fell hard for her the second I saw her. I gave her my absolute everything. I truly believed she was my one and only, but you really have to understand. I meet his gaze, my voice calm but quietly hollow. Your presence alone could never have erased all the love I held for her. It never could have pushed me to the edge of giving up on life entirely. What actually did that was over 1,800 days and nights. It was the tiny, seemingly harmless moments of being completely ignored and dismissed. It was every single promise she casually broke. It was every time she tossed me aside without a second thought, just because of you. Those ordinary, everyday letdowns, each feeling like a harmless accident, slowly stacked up over the years until they formed a brutal weight that crushed it all. That is why I say it isn't your fault. Even without you around, the massive cracks in our marriage wouldn't have just vanished. Sooner or later, something else would have sparked the explosion. Zara and I were always heading toward this bitter end. Eli was totally honest with me, and I owe him the same. Every word I said came straight from my heart. Hearing this, Eli falls completely quiet. He doesn't push it anymore. Heavy, complex emotions flicker across his eyes. Eli, you and I are very different. You know about my illness. I really don't have much time left, so I plan to spend my remaining days living entirely on my own terms, without making a single forced compromise. But your life is still long. Whether it's that childhood bond you shared with her, or the broken marriage you just escaped, they are just passing storms on a very long road. The path ahead of you is still bright and paved with sunlight. Nothing is too late. You don't need to carry any guilt, and you definitely don't have to punish yourself. All you need to do is keep pushing forward, and a bright, beautiful future will be waiting for you. I pause for a second, my tone gentle but firm. Consider it living well on my behalf. Stop dwelling in the past. I give Eli a gentle tap on his shoulder. In that quiet moment, he seems to finally grasp the deeper meaning behind my words. For the remainder of our lunch, we drop the heavy relationship talk by unspoken agreement. We just chat like two kindred souls who truly understand one another, talking about life, the future, and all those tiny, Meaningless moments that simply make us smile. After eating, we stand up to say our goodbyes. Rain, please take care. Eli looks right at me with genuine warmth. Wherever you finally end up, I truly hope you find safety and peace. Same to you, keep looking forward. I flash him a smile and turn away. Eli stays rooted in place, watching my back as I walk away. He stands there completely still for a while. His face is unreadable, but his eyes look like a man who just solved a puzzle or finally dropped a massive burden he carried for way too long. He leans down, reaching into a dark corner underneath the table, and pulls out a tiny hidden voice recorder. Eli knows Zara was listening live this entire time, but right now, the dragging silence makes the air feel thick and heavy. Zara, Eli speaks softly into the tiny microphone. Are you holding up okay? A long, empty silence follows on her end. Eventually, Zara's raw, choked-up voice finally crackles through the speaker. I am fine, thank you, Eli seriously. If it weren't for you, I never would have gotten the chance to hear how Rain actually feels inside. A quiet sigh, don't mention it. You guided me through so much darkness before. This was the absolute least I could do, but Rain's resolve is way stronger than either of us guessed. Zara, do you honestly think you still have a shot? That is a question Zara cannot answer with any real certainty. Her tangled feelings right now are impossibly tangled, like every emotion bleeding out at once. Before today, she stubbornly believed I walked away because I couldn't get past her history with Eli. But now, hearing the truth with her own ears, it finally hits her. She may never have truly understood this man at all. The wounds she gave him run much deeper than she ever imagined, so much heavier. But is it actually too late to fix any of this? Zara refuses to accept that outcome. She stays perfectly quiet for a long time, so long that Eli assumes she won't speak at all. Then, slowly, Zara begins. Her voice is barely a whisper, yet carries an unmistakable steadiness. Whether I can turn this around, I really don't know, but I know my own heart. I love him. I want his final days to be free from pain, free from sickness, filled with nothing but peace and happiness. If one day his remaining life truly no longer has me in it, that is fine. At least he's healthy, at least he's happy, at least I tried. I won't have any regrets. Zara delivers those last words with an unusual calm, but underneath it burns a fierce, all-or-nothing resolve. Eli is deeply moved. A small, warm smile finds its way onto his face. Zara, go for it. I am behind you all the way. And like Rain himself said, storms, setbacks, failures, they are only temporary chapters in a long life. As long as you keep pushing forward, they will pass. The only thing we owe ourselves is living with no regrets. Eli's words ring out with total conviction. On the other end, Zara gives a deep, resolute hum of agreement. Then the line goes quiet. It is almost time. She has somewhere to be, someone to track down. Meanwhile, on my end, I have already said goodbye to Marcus and made my way to the airport, ready to officially begin the grand journey I have been planning out. Maybe I'll die somewhere along the way. Maybe I'll make it through my entire travel list and go back to my parents. But I feel no need to die right where I was born. All I want is to witness as many different corners of this world as I can before the end, then let fate decide. Wherever I finally stop, that is where I belong. I check in, pass through security, and arrive at the departure gate. Maybe it is because my mind is at peace, my body feels fine, nothing unusual. Other passengers are still boarding. I grab a window seat, turning to gaze out at the wide expanse of the airport tarmac, and beyond it, the brilliant blue sky. I have always believed that somewhere out there is a view I have been waiting my whole life to witness, a life I never got to live. I will go find it with this broken body and whatever time I have left. Then, right at that exact moment, my phone buzzes. It is a text message from Marcus with a photo attached. Bro, am I seeing things? This figure from behind, doesn't she look way too much like your ex-wife? He is at the airport. The words ex-wife hit me like a sudden jolt. I open the photo. It is just a quick blurry shot of someone walking past, but I know Zara's silhouette way too well. I recognize her almost instantly. The photo was clearly snapped inside an airport terminal, and judging by the lighting and angle, it was taken just a short while ago. Marcus literally just dropped me off and left. A sick feeling of dread surges straight up in me. Don't tell me this woman is going to haunt me like a ghost and follow me onto this plane. When did you take this? I reply immediately, just now. After I dropped you off, I went to get my car from the lot, and I spotted her. Figured it looked exactly like her, so I snapped it, just now, then she could be on my flight. I immediately stand up and scan the entire gate area. There are not many passengers left near the boarding door. Most have already lined up to board. If Zara really is on my flight, she should already be boarding or standing in line. I do not see her anywhere. Probably just a coincidence, or she is here for a different flight. I breathe a small sigh of relief and sit back down. But right as I close my eyes to wait for the final boarding call, the quick, hurried sound of heels approaches and stops right beside me. Then, a deeply familiar scent drifts over, followed by a voice dripping with fake surprise. Oh, wow. What are the odds, old classmate? My entire body stiffens. I open my eyes against my better judgment. Sure enough, Zara's flushed face appears right above the empty seat next to me. She clearly ran hard to get here. Her hair is slightly messy, but her eyes are sparkling with barely contained delight and the unmistakable look of gotcha. Running this hard to get here, and she calls it a coincidence, yeah, right? If it were not for Marcus's photo, I might have actually believed her slightly. But now, I seem to remember you being very punctual. You hate rushing. I say it calmly, looking right into her eyes. Zara blinks, her smile growing even wider, a playful tilt to it. You notice so much about me. Could it be you still have feelings for me? Does that mean I can start thinking about proposing we get back together? One sentence, and I am completely speechless all over again. The plane begins to taxi. For the next 2 or 3 hours, I will be totally cut off from everything on the ground. The good news is, no one can disturb me for a few hours. The bad news is, the one person most capable of driving me crazy is sitting right next to me, and she clearly has zero intention of cutting me slack. But surprisingly, this whole flight turns out to be way less awful than I thought. Zara stays a lot quieter than I expected. She doesn't mention treatment, doesn't beg to get back together, doesn't cry, or say sorry. Mostly, she just stares out at the endless clouds, or rests her head with her eyes shut tight, or sneaks quick glances my way. Every so often, she casually leans over to hand me a bottle of water or a warm blanket. She does it so naturally, you'd think we really were just a couple of old classmates taking a trip. Slowly, I realize I don't hate her company as much as I did before. At the very least, having someone sitting nearby means the trip isn't totally depressing. But what drives me crazy is how she always knows my exact location. A couple times is just luck. 3 or 4 times means something's up. Zara is basically a piece of chewing gum stuck to my sneaker. She tags along for almost a week. No matter what random detour I decide to take, she always shows up right behind me, playing the exact same old classmate coincidence card. It leaves me totally speechless. I know all these little games. I spent 10 years using them when I was chasing her, mastered every single one. Now she's flipping the script on me. Karma is a real piece of work. Still, she keeps her word, not a single mention of getting back together. She only treats me like an old friend, but staring at that face every single day gives me this weird, twisted illusion that our divorce never even happened. It totally messes with my head. I break first. Standing in the courtyard of some ancient town, I step right in front of Zara right before her next big accidental meet-up. I get straight to the point. Zara, just tell me, how are you actually tracking me down every single time? She blinks, playing totally innocent. It's super easy. My secret is she points a finger straight up at the sky. What is that supposed to mean? I frown. It means we were meant to be. She tilts her head, grinning like a complete fox. I am totally stumped. I stay quiet for a beat, then say, superstitious garbage. Can't you just go back to your life? Don't you work? I quit. Zara drops the bomb without even blinking, eyes glued to mine. A job means nothing. My entire world is standing right here in front of me. This is the exact life I want. What can I say? When fate makes a call, nobody can stop it. Her whole vibe gives me a splitting headache. I finally hit my absolute limit and throw out a deal. I do not buy into fate. I just want to spend whatever time I have left in total peace. But if fate is actually real, I look her dead in the eye. Let's make a bet. Zara's face lights up, leaning in right away. A bet on what? I take a slow breath and lay out the plan I've been cooking up. You keep claiming that finding me is pure destiny, right? Fine, this time, no phones for either of us, just a transit card and some pocket cash. We stay in the city until the very last train tonight. If we somehow end up in the exact same train car together, I will believe you. I'll believe in your whole destiny fantasy. Zara raises an eyebrow at me, and what are the stakes? I hold her gaze and say, the stakes are simple. Whoever wins gets one demand from the other, no conditions, no backing out. Absolute total commitment, are you serious? Zara lights up in a second, flashing this massive, entirely unfiltered smile. No takesies backsies, I won't back down. Then when I win, Zara fires back, deadly serious. My one demand is you come home with me and get real medical treatment. Fully commit, no quitting, I'm not asking to get back together. A tiny wave of relief hits my chest, and I give a quick nod. Then my demand would be, doesn't matter. Zara cuts me off, practically radiating confidence. Her eyes are literally shining, because I am going to win. I honestly have no idea where she gets that confidence. We're in a strange city, with over a dozen subway lines, hundreds of stops, and millions of people rushing around every hour. Without phones, without setting up a single meetup spot or time, flying totally blind. The odds are way worse than hitting the jackpot. 5 minutes later, Zara and I stand in the hotel lobby, patting our pockets to prove we only brought a transit card and some loose cash, no smartphones, no GPS, nothing. The bet is officially on. We walk out together toward the closest subway entrance. At the turnstiles, we share one final look. Well then, Zara shoots me a smile, good luck. Right back at you, old classmate. We turn away, heading for two completely different gates. Scan our cards, step onto opposite escalators, and get swallowed by two totally different crowds of commuters. We lose sight of each other completely as the heavy subway doors slide shut. And right then, I take my first real breath in days. Destiny, if that was actually a real thing, why hand me a terminal illness with zero cure? Why make me grind for 5 painful years just to hit a brick wall? I don't buy into fate. I only trust myself. Which is exactly why I ride for just one single subway stop, get off at the first exit, and march right back to our hotel. My bags are already packed. I hit the room, grab my suitcase, and check out in one slick motion. 2 people riding the same subway system have millions of ways to cross paths. Maybe we really would have met at some point, but Zara and I are walking completely different paths now. This bet was just a fantasy, doomed from the start. I roll my suitcase out of the elevator and head straight to the front desk to check out. The clerk smiles, starts typing, then stops, looks up, and asks, "Sir, room 1206, yes, checking out right away. It looks like your wife arranged our hotel private car service to the airport for you. The driver is already waiting right out front. You can go ahead and get comfortable in the back seat." Those words completely short-circuit my brain. Honestly, I repeat it blindly. My wife, yes, your wife is waiting in the car. The clerk smiles and gestures toward the hotel front doors, where a sleek black sedan is parked. My jaw drops. The heavy dread I felt all morning spikes to an absolute peak. I drag my suitcase out of the lobby, march straight up to the car, and yank the door open. And there she is, Zara sitting perfectly upright in the back seat, flashing this calm, knowing smile, just watching me. You cheated. I just stare at her, way too stunned to form a real sentence. Zara keeps smiling in total silence. After a long moment, she whispers something completely off-topic. "Rain, I knew you would try to sneak away." I have absolutely zero response to that. A heavy pause passes before I manage. "You definitely cheated. How else could you know I would come back here? How would you know I planned to check out and run?" Zara dodges the question. Instead, she reaches into her bag, pulling out a transit card from this morning. It is brand new, definitely never used. She holds it out, her eyes suddenly serious and soft. "If cheating were actually possible, I would use any method in the world to make you healthy, to give you a long life, to keep you right by my side forever."